How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great weekend. MAGA's dead, everybody. MAGA's dead. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Shit's looking fun out there these days, man. If you haven't noticed, the mainstream media is going full blown into the strategy many of us predicted. I predicted myself, which is to basically bring up Nick Fuentes as much as possible. And if you notice, pay attention to when the mainstream media brings up Nick Fuentes. You'll notice his name's no longer Nick Fuentes. His new name is avowed anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Every time we're going to play some clips, this is what they're going to do. Anything to do with MAGA, America First, the media is just always going to pivot to, what about anti-Semite Nick Fuentes? Avowed anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Like his new name, I mean, he might as well change his name from Nick Fuentes to anti-Semite, middle name Nick, last name Fuentes, because we're going to be hearing that nonstop over and over, bro. And this is why people thought maybe Nick was a Fed, because, you know, people who could see into the future, I mean, not like we're fucking Nostradamus or something, but you could just kind of see where things are going. You could see, okay, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And it's like, why are you playing right into their hands, Nick? I'm still open to the possibility of Nick being a Fed. But honestly, now I see him more as just kind of a dumb kid who is having fun, being edgy, and not seeing the big picture of how that was going to be used against him. Or maybe he did, he don't care. Or maybe he is a Fed. I don't know. How's everybody doing? GK doesn't care. Well, I don't know what to tell you, GK. You never go full Fuentes, says El Jefe. What's up, El Jefe? How you doing, brother? JL Dubs, what's up? The Just One. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Kevin Bacon, my favorite actor, Kevin Bacon. Just kidding. He's all right. He was pretty good in Tremors, you know? Tremors, the original Tremors wasn't bad. Stop saying rip. I'm not saying rip. What are we talking about, guys? What are we talking about? All right, let's get to this first one. This is from Piers Morgan. And look at the way, look, Piers Morgan uncensored on YouTube. It's fucking great entertainment. But he's essentially the mainstream media, dude. Essentially. Well, we'll start with this one, where they ask Trump about Fuentes. And I think Trump, you know, he's taken a lot of L's lately, but his response to this, I think, was a W. But listen to the way the media, they don't just say Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes will always be after they say anti-Semite. And that's what you're going to hear every time. It's going to be anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. That's his whole identity now. Anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. This is why he's got to really address this shit and stop being like, oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's like, no, dude, you need to come out and fucking like really say what you believe, because I've listened to enough Nick now where it's like, is he really an anti-Semite? Because he says things that anti-Semites won't say. He doesn't seem like he's truly a racist. So like, why are you going to let them, stick this anti-Semite label to you if it's not even true? But I guess you're just so edgy, you're owning everybody and we don't realize it, right? Yeah, let's watch this.
I've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it,
trust me, Trump knows all about Nick Fuentes.
Get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
So he's going to meet with Mom Donnie now? That's going to be interesting.
You yourself had dinner with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody.
But I missed it. There was another clip where the reporter starts off by saying, anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. And I missed it. This fucking clip picks it up right after that. Did I have it? Let me get it in my bookmarks. Because that was the whole point of playing that, is I want to show, like, this is how they're going to report on everything now. Everything's going to be anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Let's see.
But you can't tell him who to interview.
Yeah, they cut it off right away. I want the... Here, I know I have it saved. Hold on. Is this the whole point of this?
I've had some great interviews with Tucker.
Okay, I guess it's probably down here somewhere. I know I saved the bookmark where they lead the question with anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. I guess I didn't. You got to trust me on that one. But yeah, So Trump's not throwing Nick Fuentes under the bus, and I think Nick did tweet like, "Thank you, President Trump." So yeah, we'll see. But let's look at how Piers Morgan's covering this. Okay, this is a kind of a heads up as to how the mainstream media is going to start covering America First, the MAGA movement. This is the MO. Like, you know how it is. Once they all start saying something, they all just like parrot it, dude. And I know Piers Morgan's on YouTube. He's still MSM. I don't give a shit. But let's look at this. Look how it starts. Starts with Nick Fuentes looking like he's doing a Hell Hitler. That's not and you got the red fucking color mat added to it to give it that. I mean, Piers is pretty dirty with his tactics, dude. But it is entertaining.
You can call me a Nazi, because if I'm a Nazi, then there's millions of young people that are following a fucking Nazi.
And then they do the edit. Bro, the editor, good work, editor. Good work.
I was going to send Fuentes a copy of Confronting Evil, but I don't know what basement he lives in. And this guy couldn't stand up to me for 2 minutes. I won't put anybody on my program that I think is manipulating the system.
It's interesting, I've not platformed him consciously. Is there a merit in getting somebody like Fuentes on, acknowledging the big reach he has? They can at least see those parts of his views properly challenged. I'm slightly wrestling with as to whether it would be a good thing to do.
Because people might find out he's actually not a fucking... Look, you have the clips, right? So you can paint him as what you want to paint him as. But when you actually talk to him, you're going to find out actually it's a little more nuanced than that. And I think understanding why Nick Fuentes is so popular and why all of these young people are saying the shit they're saying and behaving the way they're saying, I think it's more important to understand why, right? Instead of just being like, oh, let's just demonize all these people. Like, no, these are a bunch of people that feel disfranchised. They've been raised in a system where white people are bad. They've gone to schools. They've felt like they were second-class citizens because they were white. And now this is the always expected kind of response to the woke DEI shit that these kids were raised in. And yeah, I don't know, man. This is going to be the MO, though. We're going to be hearing anti-Semite Nick Fuentes every time there's any sort of MAGA first, America First thing. They will never fail to bring up anti-Semite Nick Fuentes.
Tucker is being called.
But I'm not calling him an anti-Semite. If you missed the beginning, what I'm saying is they will never say Nick Fuentes' name again without anti-Semite before it. And I'm noticing that already. The strategy is already in full effect.
The most dangerous anti-Semite in America by people like Tucker is being called the most dangerous anti-Semite in America.
And what they're doing to Tucker right now, they're going to attempt to do that to the entire fucking right wing, MAGA, America First, whatever you want to call it. The way they're disparaging Tucker to make Tucker look terrible. This is their little blueprint. They're going to do it to the entire fucking MAGA movement.
By people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Josh Hammer for speaking out against Zionism.
I honestly don't know who that guy is, but I've never called Tucker Carlson an anti-Semite.
Anyone who has the slightest problem with Zionism is immediately condemned as a Nazi.
You're saying anti-Zionism is the most censored view in America, and then
I didn't say that.
And then you come out here and defend an actual anti-Semite, Nick Fuentes.
No, what did I say in defense of Nick Fuentes, lady?
This is mainstream media editing, man. Mainstream media editing 101.
Anti-Semitic extreme Nick Fuentes.
See? Okay. Get used to that. Get used to never hearing Nick's name again without anti-Semite, anti-Semitic streamer, avowed anti-Semite. That's going to be before his name every time. This is... I'm telling you, it was just yesterday, and I'm seeing all the clips, and every single time they bring up Nick, it's anti-Semite, Nick, anti-Semitic, avowed anti-Semite.
Anti-Semitic extreme Nick Fuentes has enjoyed a lot of exposure recently, not least from a big New York Times profile, which claimed Fuentes was Charlie Kirk's bitter enemy. Now he's becoming his successor. Many have debated his recent appearance on the Tucker Carlson show with the usual commentary about interviewing styles and platforming. But Fuentes himself is not really the main issue here. Neither are the so-called groypers who follow him. He's just a symbol of a far bigger struggle whose outcome will have a far bigger consequence. It's a battle over who controls the conservative movement, what it stands for, and ultimately what MAGA will mean after Donald Trump. This is why, even as we speak, debate continues to rage about whether Charlie Kirk was turning against against Israel. And this is why leading figures in the conservative movement are openly attacking one another and not their opponents. And this is why some are saying that Charlie Kirk was holding MAGA together. Ben Shapiro is making the case that MAGA risks being captured by online extremists, just as liberals were captured by the ultra woke.
And Piers, if you're going to talk about Nick, because Nick's a big subject. Like, I talk a lot about Nick. I obviously would interview Nick and talk to him and debate, you know, where I disagree with him, et cetera, et cetera. You should definitely do the same thing, Piers. Nick needs something like that. I really think Nick can actually, if he can reach a big enough audience and actually really speak, you know, not like trying to be edgy and funny, but like really speak to his beliefs and why and who, what, when, or where. I think he could get a little bit past this label. And this is why they want to censor people. Like, they want to censor somebody like Nick, so he can't speak for himself. He can't tell you what he believes. The media will tell you what he is. And we can't platform Nick so he can defend himself. Just let the media say what he is. And that's a big thing they do when they censor you. It's like it stops your ability to actually like counter signal and be like, wait, actually you're wrong, and let me explain this. So yeah, I think you know, I mean, he could just keep ignoring it. I guess that's one strategy, but I don't think that's going to work. I think he's got to get out in front of this. Listen a little more.
Social media has conned them into thinking ordinary people will agree.
Americans are not pro-segregation, pro-rape, anti-woman, pro-child marriage, anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Indian, anti-Latino, anti-Constitution, pro-Hitler nutjobs like Nick Fuentes.
Like every joke Nick Fuentes has ever made now. And I mean, some of them are stupid. Probably the shit that to me is the most concerning is when he's kind of skirts that line. You know, I mean, there's the Ali Akbar, whatever the fuck his name was, dude. You know, the guy that was caught trying to get nudes from some kid or something. I forget the details, but you know, not a good look. And then, you know, the little jokes he makes about like wanting a 16-year-old bride and shit like that. And I get it, he's joking, he's being edgy, but bro, once you amount enough of those fucking clips of you being like super edgy, boy, good luck, man. Good luck, because they're gonna run with all those clips.
And Americans are not pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, pro-Venezuela, pro-Hamas, pro-Fuentes, pro-Tate idiots like Tucker Carlson. They hate this vile garbage.
See, everything Nick said, basically Tucker said it. That's the playbook now. If Nick said something, then basically that means Tucker believes in it. And then at some point, that will be extrapolated to everybody that's on the right, everybody that's America First. If Nick said it, that means everybody in America First believes it.
This is our party.
Even if Nick doesn't even believe it himself, and he's just fucking shitting, you know, shit talking. Doesn't matter.
This is our conservative movement. And I will not stand by while it is handed over to those who betray the most fundamental principles I have spent my entire life defending and advocating. That is a path to defeat and a path to moral oblivion. I reject it because if we lose the right, we will lose to the left. And either way, we'll lose the country.
Well, on the other side of the aisle are those who argue that Trump's entire coalition was based on one main principle, America First. And in the most part, this is fundamentally incompatible with America's unquestioning support for Israel. In their view, all of the calls for censorship and condemnation of certain people are generally all traced back to that.
There is what Politico is calling a civil war in the Republican Party. And it's over, of course, identity, because the only wars we have in this country, the only sanctioned wars we have domestically are about identity, BLM, anti-Semitism. Of course, that's not really what they're ever about. These are proxy wars. These are wars waged on behalf of people who aren't directly participating for reasons that are never openly stated. And this war is actually about what comes after Donald Trump. Our foreign policy is not wholly dependent on the whims of Israel. Of course, we have, acting in lots of parts of the world that have nothing to do with Israel.
He's right. What this is about right now is, they're not going to wait around till the last minute. This is basically the war. It is a war within the Republican Party to figure out who is going to run this show once Trump's gone, right? And the neolibs and the neocons are going to come together to completely disparage America First.
$2, like the stream plebs.
Yeah, please do like the stream, Redunk. Thank you for reminding me, guys. Smash the thumbs up if you you enjoy the show. You want to see it get out to more people. It's much appreciated. Links in the description if you want to support or join Discord and join the conversation on Discord. Or you can send a super chat like Redonk. Thank you, Redonk. Yeah, I think you're going to see the neolibs, you're going to see the Democrats, and you're going to see the neocons. They're going to come together, and they're both going to work together to get rid of all the damage Trump did so they can get back to their little cushy situation where you have two choices. It's a Hillary Clinton or it's a Dick Cheney. Those are your two choices, right? And they're going to work really hard to get there. And it's very clear. We're not going to hear the end of my Nazis, my anti-Semite. We're going to hear this over and over and over and over for who knows how many years now. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope you guys are ready for that. We'll listen a little more to Tucker.
But it is unduly influenced by the concerns of Israel. And in some cases, the U.S. government has acted, and these are all well known. The Iraq War, for example, has acted in ways that hurt the United States in order to help Israel. It has put the aims of a foreign power above its own interests.
Well, Nick Fuentes routinely says outrageously vile things, and he has a platform and an audience of his own. He's a flashpoint because some people believe there's nothing more conservative than airing ideas in the open, uncensored, and letting people decide. And some people believe conservatives have a moral duty not.
Kevin Bacon, it's a good point I'd like to respond to. Kevin Bacon says, let them say it until it loses its power completely. We're going to find out if it loses its power. Like the whole racism shit. Yeah, it's kind of boy who cried wolf at this point. Doesn't really have the power that it used to have, just calling somebody a racist. It still does among like the woke left. But I don't even know how much it does with them because they just use it as a tool to like destroy people. I don't know if they even believe it half the time they say it. But yeah, we'll see, man. We're going to find out. We're going to find out if it loses its power completely or not, man. We're about to find out. I still believe that, in order to win, you need a coalition. And unfortunately, those coalitions, you need the normies. I don't think you're going to have a big enough coalition of people who are like, yeah, whatever. I don't care if I'm considered an anti-Semite, racist, bigot. I don't care. I mean, you're still going to have the normies that are not going to like that message. That's how I see things. We're not quite there yet where you could just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong though. We'll find out. We will find out because it's 100% clear. This is the strategy they're going to employ.
To hear them out, but to crush them altogether. I'll be joined by my panel in a moment. First, Bill O'Reilly, the best-selling author and host of No Spin News.
Okay, that's when we stop watching. When fucking Bill O'Reilly shows up. Jake Tapper of CNN has been spamming Vance's office for 2 weeks trying to get a condemnation of Nick Fuentes. This is what you're going to see. You will see many people on the right. They're going to disown Nick. You're going to see that because that's what they want. They want to splinter this movement. They see it as like, hey, if we can at least get like the Trump people to disown Nick, that's going to create an even bigger civil war. And that's going to hurt the right because that's going to kind of fuck up the little coalition they have. So you'll see it, man. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a ton of people coming out and disowning Nick. If not now, closer to the election. But this is Trump's response so far, which was like, let people talk. Who cares? I think that's the answer. Because if you do really care about fighting anti-Semitism, the people that you feel are becoming anti-Semitic, you might want to bring them in and have conversations with them and not ostracize them and not fucking ban them into their little corners. Bring them in, talk to them, have debates with them. That's the best thing you can do if you want to fight anti-Semitism. If you want anti-Semitism to get even worse, then start treating these people like they're fucking pariahs and banning them off everything and making them. You're just going to make the fucking problem worse. So, hey, let's listen to this news report.
But you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
The neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes replied on Twitter.
Do you understand what's about to... This is what's... Get used to it, guys. You're never going to hear Nick Fuentes' name said out loud by the media without it followed by neo-Nazi, anti-Semite, anti-Semitic, avowed anti-Semite, And this is a marching order. This is not just coincidence that all of a sudden They all start sounding the same.
Her ex quote, "Thank you, Mr. President." So there we have it. President Trump expressing no issues with neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes, who has expressed an affinity for President Trump. Nazi Nick Fuentes replied on Twitter, her ex quote,
Nick should sue these motherfuckers. That's what he should do. Nick, I'm sure he's got the money. He should go the Donald Trump route and sue them for defamation. Let's see. Come on, Nick.
"Thank you, Mr. President." So there we have it. President Trump expressing no issues with neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes, who has expressed...
Jesus Christ, how many times are they going to say this?
But
thank you, Mr. President. So there we have it. President Trump... Nazi Nick Fuentes...
You know, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
The neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes replied on Twitter, or X, quote, "Thank you, Mr. President." So there we have it. President Trump expressing no issues with neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes, who has expressed an affinity for Adolf Hitler and regularly traffics in racist, sexist, anti-Semitic filth. Now, some conservatives, such as Senators Ted Cruz and Senator Mitch McConnell, have criticized Tucker Carlson for his very...
Well, the good guys, right? The good guy. This is the good guy right here. The neocons. They're the good guys. They're not the reason that everybody's pissed off acting like fucking crazy people right now. It's not them. No, it's Nick Fuentes, who, at the end of the day, Nick and his followers are a response to our terrible fucking government. Again, you can blame this on the government being fucking shitty.
Very friendly, lengthy interview with Nick Fuentes. Other Republicans have not been so blunt in their condemnation of Fuentes or Carlson, or even condemned either of them. Vice President J.D. Vance, considered the next leader in the MAGA line of succession, he's no stranger to questions about Republicans espousing anti-Semitism.
You think he should sue? I think so too, man.
Super chatted $5. Sue, sue, sue. This isn't news, it's propaganda.
Look, I've done, since I've started covering Nick, I've watched a lot of Nick now, okay? Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, the dude is really not a racist anti-Semite. The dude is just fucking around saying crazy shit. And then occasionally you watch him, he'll kind of correct the record. And he'll say things that make it clear, like, oh, he's actually not a racist. He's actually not an anti-Semite. So if that's the case, like, you should fight back against this. You should, because I think Nick thinks this is going to blow him up. Again, we'll find out. Does this make Nick more powerful? Or is Nick going to become a pariah, of the media where they just constantly do nothing but attack him? We'll see, but I don't know. After I've watched enough Nick, it's like, he's really not actually. He's really not actually. I'm sorry, but his own words lead me to believe none of this is true. But he's got a bunch of edgy clips that can be just taken on their own, and you can paint him as that. So, I don't know, man. Fight back, Nick. Fight back.
Semitism in the last few months, following the young Republicans' texting scandal, which was first reported by Politico, which included one message where one of the young Republicans said, quote, "I love Hitler." Vice President Vance characterized those expressing outrage as, quote, "pearl clutching." And the vice president repeatedly referred to the participants as kids, even though the ages of the people in the group range from 18 to 40. Fuentes is, of course, a Nazi of a more loathsome...
I mean, how many... Dude, this is like 12 times now. They've either called him a Nazi or called him an anti-Semite or says he hates brown people, he hates this and that. I'm telling you guys, get used to this. This was very obvious to me this was coming, and this is just the beginning. The strategy is just getting off the ground. But I mean, if y'all didn't see this coming, you're pretty blind, because this was very obviously going to be a playbook move.
Order than those on that text chain. And he has a history of going after not just Jews, but Vice President Vance. He said a number of nasty things about his wife. Vance himself called Fuentes a total loser in a 2024 CBS interview before the election, after Fuentes attacked his wife Usha Vance and her Indian heritage. Here's just one of these vile moments. A quick warning to our viewers. This condemnation of Vance by Fuentes is not pleasant to listen to.
So get ready for this too. I mean, if you haven't seen the greatest hits of Nick Fuentes, they're going to be on repeat 24/7.
Now they're all in favor of a fat race mixer who's married to a Jeet who named his son Vivek.
Now, this week and last, I repeatedly asked Vance's office for any comment about this internal war.
They cut that clip off real quick, didn't they? I thought it would go on a little longer than that.
About Fuentes. specifically about Tucker Carlson platforming Fuentes, and there was no response. This weekend, Vance did weigh in on something related to this issue. It had to do with another member of the Carlson family, Tucker's son, Buckley, who works for Vance. And he, Vice President.
Yeah, being strawmanned is no longer a threat unless you have a bunch of clips of you saying shit like that. If you have a bunch of clips of you, that Nick has tons of clips that they can pull from to be like, oh, look, this is him being an anti-Semite. Without the clips, it wouldn't fall as hard. With the clips, you act like people are smart enough to go, oh, there's probably a larger context here, or maybe he's just being an edgy boy. He's just trying to fucking be as edgy and as little political correctness as possible. No, they're not going to have that fucking bigger picture view. They're just going to be like, holy shit, he says he loves Hitler. He says Hitler's cool. Holy shit, he's talking about race mixing. Oh my God, he's like... Do you realize how stupid people are? They're going to fall for that shit.
President Vance attacked just some rando on Twitter as a, quote, scumbag because this woman claimed that Tucker's...
What would make me agree that he's a Nazi? What's the qualification? I don't know, man. It's hard when he says things that you go, okay, he sounds like a Nazi. But then I pull up his podcast and then he's like actually has kind of a woke mindset on race. And it's like, well, he plays both sides of that fence. So it's like, if you're an avowed Nazi racist, are you going to also talk about like, I don't know, man. You have to watch his show. That's all I have to say. Watch his show. Don't just watch the clips. And you will see points where he starts talking about race in a non-racist fucking anti-Semitic way. He's like, I don't know. You just have to watch his show. So, and then you have to just listen to what he says, like what he claims to be. It's weird because we have like a lot of these kids these days. They have black friends, they have Hispanic friends, they have Jewish friends, and then they join they become a groiper, and then they start talking all kinds of race shit. But that doesn't change the fact that they have black friends, Mexican friends, and in their regular life, they're not actually racist. They're just pissed off about this country. And it seems like the people of this country are not being put first. And, they're a bunch of kids just getting edgy. Like, that's what happens when you tell people, you can't say this, you can't do that. And political correctness runs amok. You get a response to that where people go, okay, I'm not allowed to say this. Well, I'm going to say everything I'm not allowed to say. And then, does that mean they believe it? I don't know. But I don't believe that a lot of these people are actual racists or actual anti-Semites. Some of them are. I believe there are some underneath that, and then they're the ones that are always mad at Nick when Nick fucking pulls back. I don't know. You just have to watch his show. It's one thing to see the clips. It's another thing to watch the show and get the guy's full opinion on things. Okay?
Brother idolizes Nick Fuentes and questioned whether Tucker's son Buckley, who works for Vance, is a vile bigot. Two, we here at CNN have absolutely no idea if Tucker's relatives feel any way about Fuentes. But it is clear from recent Twitter posts that his brother, also named Buckley, supports Tucker's platforming of Fuentes. Again, in August 2024, a few months before being elected, Vice President Vance condemned Fuentes. But since then, since the inauguration, Vice President Vance has weighed in on these issues only to defend people using anti-Semitic or racist language. He certainly hasn't called any of them scumbags. So on this Republican civil war, on whether it's okay to platform Nazis or espouse anti-Semitism, President Trump has weighed in, as has Vice President Vance. President Trump clearly leaning on the idea of free speech to make his point. Yet at the same time, Trump, of course, has no problem trying to get comedians who make fun of him and fired. Clearly, neither President Trump nor Vice President Vance are shy about attacking or insulting anyone they don't like. They have opted to not do so when it comes to Nazis like Nick Fuentes. At a time when hate crimes against Jewish Americans are only rising in the United States, the president and the vice president, when it comes to this civil war, they've made their views clear. They're not going to condemn Nazis. They're not going to condemn those who platform them.
Yeah. Get ready, man. This is going to be over and over and over and over again. Nick Fuentes, Nazis, condemn Nazis. You don't condemn Nazis? You got Nazis, got a Nazi problem. You don't condemn Nazis, anti-Semites. You're going to hear this over and over again, dude. This is why I was so pissed at Nick. and why I still am sort of pissed at Nick. Because it's like, dude, they've been trying so fucking hard to let these labels land, and they weren't landing, and it became a boy who cried wolf situation. We're like, oh, yeah, here they go calling Nazi again. But now you got all these clips of Nick. They're going to fucking try this again. And this time with the clips combined, who knows? A lot of people think, oh, it's not going to work. We'll find out, because they're definitely going to try. They're definitely going to try. So Trump's now flipping on the Epstein files. Apparently, he's all for the Epstein files. And if the Senate votes to release them, I think they're voting tomorrow. He says he's going to sign it. So I guess good news. I mean, I don't know.
Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats. All I want for people to recognize a great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy.
It sounds kind of selfish. You know, what he should have said, what I want is justice for the victims. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, I know people, nobody's putting words in his mouth, and he just talks off the dome, but sometimes it's like, dude, like, no, what you should say is, what I want is justice for the victims, and I want transparency and justice to be done. So yeah, I'm all for it. But it's like, no, what I want is people to recognize how fucking great I am. I'm so amazing, guys. Please stop talking about Epstein and talk about me and how amazing I am. It's like, come on, bro. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also at a certain point, like, can we keep our eye on the ball, dude?
On ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. You know, we've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages, 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans.
The problem is, if you don't give it all and you withhold the shit that, like, you know, the emails that have your name in it, Trump, then some fucking whistleblower, some leaker in the government's going to leak that email. And then people are going to be like, oh, look, Trump, actually, there's more about Trump that they didn't release. So you have to release it all about yourself, too. And the way he talks about it is too easy for the other side to go, oh, he's just interested in you know, throwing shit at the Democrats, the same way the Democrats are trying to throw shit at Trump. He's such a failure on this, but maybe eventually things will get so ugly that we will get some transparency. But I think he is right in the sense that, like, no matter what is given, people are still not going to believe it. So even if 100% of everything the government has, they released it, the conspiracies are not going to stop. I mean, unless what the government has is, oh, actually, Epstein didn't kill himself. Actually, we did that, the government. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. We apologize for that. Oh, and also, yeah, he was working with Mossad and the CIA to blackmail people who we wanted to be able to influence. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, if that was what they released, then people would be like, holy shit, okay. They might believe it in that case. But other than that, people are still going to have conspiracies. And rightfully so, bro. Rightfully so.
Now, I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So
honestly, I'm more pissed. Yeah, the government shutdown sucks. I'm more pissed about the Republicans putting that fucking hemp law, sneaking that into the fucking CR, sneaking that into the reopening bill. I'm more pissed about that than anything the Democrats did with shutting down the government, because I don't give a fuck. Shut the government down. Shut it fucking down permanently, bro. I don't give a fuck about that. But then you go and you take away one of my freedoms. You go and take away my ability to get, to do what I want with my fucking life. And now I got to be a criminal if I want to live the same way I'm living right now, because I might want a fucking CBD derived marijuana THC product or whatever the fuck. I'm more pissed about that, honestly, than the Democrats shutting down the government. I mean, it was stupid. It was selfish what the Democrats did. But yeah, the Republicans had to go and fuck it all up by putting some fucking lobbyist bullshit bill into the fucking reopening package. Such horseshit, dude.
Or I don't. They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really...
You can't control what people talk about, dude. Yeah, I'll give you what you need, but just shut up. Stop talking about it. That's okay. Yeah.
A Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Here's what I want.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great, guys. So great. The accomplishments are so amazing. Dude, you're only a year in. Maybe you could talk about the accomplishments you're planning for next year, because I'm not really that impressed this year. There are a few things that, like, okay, you shut down the border crossings at an all-time low. That's great. You're attempting to deport people, but you're never going to get to the numbers we need to actually make a difference there. But hey, you're trying. I'm sure there's some other victories in there. The DEI stuff, that's a victory. The trans athlete stuff, that's a victory. But I don't know, man. Maybe we're just too picky. We want too much. Maybe we want too much, but I want so much more. Trump, you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never in his island. Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. Here we go.
The Congresswoman was on CBS News. She was talking about how the files should be released. We anticipate that a vote will happen in the House. I know you've about the investigation today.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. You're going to have to look into his friends, because if they're going to do that, then I think the perfect guy to do it would be Southern District, somebody like Jay Clayton. I understand that's who's been assigned.
Does the Congresswoman have a point, though?
You're ordering the release of more files. Does Marjorie Taylor Greene have a point?
Does she have a point?
I know nothing about her.
He always says that when he doesn't like somebody, or somebody he's kind of disavowing. Well, I know nothing about them. Like, what do you mean? Now you know nothing about MTG? Come the fuck on, bro. It's so stupid.
Want to release all the files?
Well, they can have whatever they want. They already do. I think they have 50,000 pages.
Yes, hemp and marijuana are two different things. I understand that as Kuma skill. But what's going on is they're using CBD-derived weed. I don't even want to get into it. It's so fucking, like, everybody's so, yes, it's not weed. It essentially works like marijuana, though, guys. CBD derived. They do whatever the fuck they do. I don't know. I'm not a chemist to essentially make it legal, but then it has the same effects as if somebody went to a dispensary in Colorado to get some weed at the end of the day. Okay. I know it's not the same. It's not as great as your fucking amazing legal weed. I know that. But what you need to do is you need to go talk to some older people who have health issues, who have seen a lot of relief from being able to get gummies, okay? I've had it in my life. I've seen what it's done for people. And instead of that, now they got to go to the doctor. The doctor's going to get them some shit that's 100 times fucking worse than some gummies. It's I don't know, man. If you're not for legalizing weed, great. That's good. You bought a bunch of bullshit, right? Yeah, we can all just get drunk. We can do all these other drugs, but weed, one of the most harmless fucking drugs out there, which has a lot of medical benefits. Oh, no. I don't know, man. People are buying the propaganda, like the Dan Patrick propaganda on this shit. Some reason people just buy it. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess there's still a lot of leftover old school dumbass Republicans who are still like, I don't know, they wake up every morning and watch Reefer Madness and they're like, oh, weed is so bad.
Look,
All right, you know what? If we're gonna, let's ban alcohol too. Let's ban alcohol. Let's ban cigarettes. Let's ban caffeine. See how you guys feel when we start banning the shit you like.
James O'Keefe footage they'll DOJ redact every Republican person in those files, leave all the liberal people in those files, should watch.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably what's going to happen, but I think that will backfire because somebody will leak the shit that they didn't leak, right? You know it. Some Democrats going to get access to some emails that have Trump's name in it that they redacted and didn't want to put in there, and then they're gonna release that, and the people are gonna go, oh, this is proof that Trump is covering up his own relationship with Epstein and the shit he's guilty of. So if you really want to get past this, you need to give it all. You need to have complete transparency. There better be shit that you release that also has Trump in there as well.
This is a Democrat.
Because you should expect Trump's name to be all over the files. That's just reality. Does that mean he's guilty? I don't know. I don't think at the end of the day, I would bet that he's probably not guilty of, sex trafficking, but we'll see. But his name is definitely going to be all over the files.
This is a hoax put out by the Democrats.
Yeah, I know. Tucker had an anti-weed doctor on today, dude. The fear-mongering over weed, it's like we're finally making progress into legalizing weed. And like that same fucking lobbyist monster that wants to see it shut down, they're running with the same fucking fear tactics. It's the same shit. Just it's I don't know. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating because like, where's the line? Okay, it's okay for me to become an alcoholic and completely wreck my life with alcoholism and fucking. That's all fine. I mean, it's fine for a doctor to get me hooked on fucking hillbilly heroin. That's all fine. But if I want to sit down and smoke a J and watch a movie and fucking get the munchies, I'm a bad person. That's illegal now. Like. The conservative movement was moving towards freedom. The conservative movement was moving towards being pro legalization of marijuana, and then all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know. It's like the record scratch. It's like, oh wait, nope. Oh, actually, weed is bad. It's terrible. You bunch of fucking drug addicts, losers, and blah blah blah. And I hate the smell of it. It's like, okay, dude, you're just fringing out your shit again because whether you believe it or not, the majority of the country is pro legalization.
And a couple of few Republicans have gone along with it because they're weak and ineffective. But this is a Democrat hoax to get away from the fact that they...
Yeah, so just the same shit from Trump. Democrat hoax. Just release the files, dude. That's it. That's all you got to do. Release the files.
SSG Frago super chatted $5. That Tucker Weed doctor was a straight up bullshit artist.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it, SSG Frago. I mean... all you got to do, like, go look at Dan Patrick. Like, Dan Patrick, when he was trying to get it banned in Texas, they're lying through their fucking teeth, bro. Like, they literally took these products out and they were like, what is this bag? No one knows what's in this bag. The bag, it's fucking regulated. You can see every ingredient. It tells you exactly how much is in there and how much you should take if you're a big, like, it's all regulated. Like, well, who knows what's in here? This is just, anything could be in here. And then I go, it comes from China. A lot of this shit ain't coming from China. I'm sorry. It's not. There's a lot of American businesses that when the hemp bill was passed, started a business, and now you're just going to put them all out of fucking business. And like, oh, well, the kids. And then they always use, we got to protect the children. They're selling these to kids. Like, dude. If they're selling them to kids, it's the same way that like you have some convenience stores where when I was a kid that they were run by Indians and those were the ones, you could get a pack of cigarettes under 18. The same shit. It's like, yeah, there are bad actors, but now we have to completely ban this because one fuckhead sold something to some kid, and it's probably like maybe a handful of cases of it happening. I don't know, dude. But it's just the same shit rehashed again, and they lie through their fucking teeth, dude. They really do. Let's see Alex what he's got to say about the Epstein stuff. Breaking: Trump does Epstein files 180, calls for Republicans to release everything.
Trump has now done another 180. This is the fifth in the last 2 years.
The fifth one, he's keeping track of all the 180s. There's a lot of them.
And said release
Make your head
everything,
spin.
all Epstein, any agencies, anywhere, DOJ, court cases, criminal cases, emails, all of it. Congress, pass it, release it. Now, he'd already told the DOJ to get the courts to release it, and the Democrat judges in Florida and New York blocked it.
Guys, all I'm saying, look, you want to be against weed legalization, that's fine. That's your right. But you're a fucking idiot, and you're buying a bunch of propaganda from a bunch of old fogies who are taking a ton of fucking money from lobbyists, and that's the only reason they're down for this. That's the reality, whether you want to believe it or not. But you're welcome. You're welcome to side with the lobbyists. You're welcome. If that's what you want to do.
And then when it just keeps going and going, he gets more and more mad and says, look, I'm not in this. I didn't do anything. It's a distraction. And then he ham-fistedly comes out and says, it's all a Democrat hoax. And people go, what do you mean it's a hoax? No, it's real. And then he doesn't clarify, no, it's a hoax that I did something wrong. Well, he came out yesterday and today and clarified that, which he's done before. But then the media spins it.
Okay, let's think about what you just said. He says, everybody he knows that smokes weed, their life is a complete mess. Okay. Should I list off all the fucking people who smoke weed whose lives are not a complete mess, who actually, I mean, should we do that? Should we, all the doctors and scientists and like, who's the guy who did Carl Sagan smoked? I mean, like, let's be real, dude. A lot of these people that are losers and you go, oh, it's because they smoke weed. You take the weed away, they're still fucking losers. Okay? The weed is not what made them losers. The fact that they're just inherently fucking losers is what made them losers. Okay? It's bullshit, dude. It really is, man. But whatever, I'm done arguing it because apparently I have a lot of followers who are like old fogies who think that weed should be illegal. And that's fine if you believe that, but I actually believe in freedom. I don't know about you. I believe in freedom.
The DOJ is scrubbing Epstein files. And they're saying they're going to, quote, redact every Republican. Well, the House has a bunch of it, and everything in there is completely innocuous about Republicans. But as I told you in the last year or so, it came out that a bunch of big billionaires, bankers, hedge fund heads, almost all of them Democrats, are on the island at Zorro Ranch, really implicated. And that's what these young women have confirmed victims
There's a poll.
have said.
You guys will
not
see.
Trump.
Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like I got a lot of people who are not pro weed, which is weird to me. Because I don't run into many of these people in my life. I mean, most people are like completely for legalization of marijuana, but I don't know. There's a lot of people coming out of the woodworks lately who are not. And it's surprising to me.
And so we know the CIA, and I was told this high-level sources, has now been confirmed, went to Trump right when he got back in 10 months ago and said, Mossad, all of it, MI6, it's all involved. The King of England's brother. Plus, there's not enough to convict on any of this. It's old. The Democrats have had the file. Just shut it down. It's just a quagmire. And so Trump goes, okay. There's nothing to see there. And then people get mad at him. He says, fine, Bondi, release it. And then they go, fine what the Democrats had hidden in New York. It was just a trap. It's all a bunch of recycled garbage that I predicted. Everything I said was in there, is in there. Melania was a hooker working for Epstein. Nope. No.
I mean, here's another thing that people don't realize, right? Like right now, there's billions of dollars flowing around our economy generated from hemp cells, hemp-derived THC products, whatever you want to call it. You make this shit legal. What happens to those billions of dollars? They go right to the black market and just end up in the hands of criminals, the cartel, et cetera, et cetera. That's good. That's good, right? Let's just send billions of dollars to the black market.
None of that's true. Never, on and on and on. They black out names of Jeffrey. And they go, oh, look, an email about Trump being around one of the victims. Yeah, at Mar-a-Lago. And that's why he kicked him out of the club. So every piece of it is just put out, redacted, they say, to protect victims, but it's redacted to make it look like Trump did something. So I'm going to be getting into that, but this is the absolute right move. He needs to stay the course with this. And I said, I didn't defend it.
You know he's not, though. Tomorrow he's going to come out and do another 180. And then a couple of days later, he'll do another 180. This is what he does.
Didn't support shutting it down just because it's a quagmire, because why should you shut something down even if it's a quagmire if you're not implicated? I understand you see it as a distraction that they're going to spin like Russia, Russia, Russia. But if you try to suppress it, even though it's their trap, then it looks like you've done something wrong. So you got to go ahead and let it unfold. and counter it and respond to it. And when he engages in if my constituents think the Epstein thing is a hoax, then they're not my constituents, you're not MAGA. 5, 6, 7 point drop. And when he comes back out and says, fine, release it all, it's the Democrats, they're all implicated, go back up. I need Trump's overall agenda to succeed. I get why he's frustrated, but you can't make a deal with these people. Again, it's oblique deal. It's from the angle. It's not a full deal or blackmail, but he has and I'm going to put this key right now, and it ties into the other big stories.
Robert Kidney super chatted $2. Nick is a Nazi. Please stop, man. It's all BS.
Do you think Nick is a legitimate Nazi? That is actually like, I mean, what does that even mean, bro? What does that even mean? To be a Nazi in this day and age? Like, what does it mean? Is he actual, like a neo-Nazi? Do they have meetings? Do they have Nazi meetings where they're like Sieg Helling and reading Mein Kampf every night or something? Like, what does that mean? I don't know, dude. I've just listened to enough of him to understand he says both things. He plays both sides of the fence. So maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, if he is a Nazi, he's not a true believer, because there are times where he says the opposite of what a Nazi would say. So I don't know which it is, but I know for the media, they're just going to run with it that he's a Nazi, dude.
He inherited the globalist DOJ with the Clintons and the Bushes and Obama and Biden putting in their people. 90% of the people in there are theirs, even with the reforms we've seen. So Trump, even when grand juries indict them for all the different crimes they've committed, they just hold on to it. So he has to remove the prosecutors, put in new ones that will take.
I wish I could have saved all the clips, because Dutch Miramar says Nick calls himself a racist. I get that. But what I'm saying is you have to see all the clips, not just those clips. You need to see the clips where Nick actually sounds
Robert
exactly
Kidney
opposite of a
super chatted
racist.
$5. It means he is a white identitarian that will take over the conservative movement. Read the Turner Diaries.
The Turner Diaries? The Turner Diaries? What is the Turner Diaries, bro? He's a white identity. Well, I mean, there is that, definitely that, like, grain or thread of his movement. But again, Robert, what do you expect is going to happen when we have the world that these kids grew up in, where they're guilty from birth just for being white? And then they have to go to school and they have to see, like, okay, you're white, you don't get to talk, shut up. You're white, you're guilty of this, you're guilty of that. You're white, you have a fucking privilege, even though you're poor and your mom's addicted to heroin and is probably a prostitute on the street. You're privileged. Like, this is a response to that, man. And this was always going to happen. Unfortunately, once you start playing those type of identity politics, it's what's going to happen. And I don't know, man, I should have saved all the clips of Nick saying the things that would go, oh, well, why would he say that if he was a Nazi? Why would he say that if he was a racist? I should have saved them all, because I've been seeing them over and over on Twitter.
The indictment, and then the federal courts come in and try to block the new prosecutors he's put in. So they fight him just like with the border and trade and everything, every step of the way. He's not a king. He's not a dictator.
I don't think attacking them as Nazis and being like, well, you guys are the worst people in the world, I don't think that's going to solve the problem. I really don't. I think part of why we have this problem is because they feel attacked so badly.
Robert Kidney super chatted $5. You are one of them. Read that you and diary and see what happens to conservatives.
The Turner Diary. Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you, Robert.
The optics of this is something you just can't sweep under the rug. But the issue is he doesn't have a DOJ and FBI that will prosecute it. When Bondi, 8-9 months ago, went and raided the FBI in New York where they were hoarding it, Comey's daughter running it, the prosecutor was given all the Epstein cases.
Super chatted $10. What happened to CNN supposedly getting new leadership and going more centrist, fair and balanced like old CNN? Instead, they're out here calling people effing Nazis and racists.
Well, they're still the mainstream media, and I think what you're going to see, like I've said before, is you're going to see basically the neo-lib establishment and the neocon establishment. They're going to work together to kill America first, and that's They may not be as bad, but they're still, their motives are still not like what's best for America. And they're still not right wing. They're still liberals. So they're still playing the long game of how do we destroy this Republican coalition so that the left can get back into power. And that's really what I care about most. I care about, the right wing keeping this coalition, actually having an America First fucking, agenda being implemented into our government. And I don't see it being helpful to just attack a whole segment of our youth who are pissed off, who are angry, who have lived through what they felt like is racism against them. Oh, I know it sounds silly, right? White people, racism. It's like, okay, well, have you been living in this country the last 10, 20 years? Have you seen the way white people are treated? And if you're a kid that just was born into this, you're born in like 2005 and you're 15 in 2020 and you're seeing all this shit, all this anti-white people shit. Like, yeah, that's going to radicalize people. And instead of being like, oh, you're a piece of shit, like, we need to bring them under the fold and we need to debate them. And we need to let them know, like, yeah, your concerns are valid. But obviously, taking on the same stance of identity politics and becoming identitarians just like the left is not the answer. But we got to have those debates. We can't just shun them and kick them out.
Chatted $2. Don't speak unless you read their literature.
Whose literature? Turner Diaries? Is that what you're talking? Are we talking about the Turner Diaries? What are we talking about?
So she could limit it and cover it up.
I don't even know what the fuck the Turner Diaries are, bro. I'll look it up.
The DOJ gets the documents. They go, yeah, it's nothing but innuendo, recycled garbage, and things cherry-picked to embarrass Republicans. None of it's anything doing with kids, but this was a setup, and Trump goes, oh, my gosh, then just shut it down. And I told you all that months before it came out in the news, and he said they've cherry-picked it.
Spocko super chatted
it's a distortion, and they control the file.
The Turner Diaries are what are said to have inspired Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, so this is some old shit then, huh? The Turner Diaries. I'll have to look it up. You guys got me interested now.
Talking to all the whistleblowers and insiders and White House people and on off record. I'll leave it at that. And I don't just trust them. I know this case better than most of them. I know it's true. But you still can't make that choice and do that because it only empowers them to spend it more.
I understand where Robert's coming from because he's probably, a lot of the people that are upset, they're seeing the splintering and they're blaming it on Nick Fuentes. And I understand that logic to be like, Nick is why the people think he's a Fed. But I think the bigger picture here is like, why is this happening? Why do we have a bunch of movement of kids that are behaving this way? What's the fucking cause and effect here? And again, if we had a government that actually responded to the needs of the people, we probably wouldn't be seeing much of this. But this is all downhill from government being fucking shitty. Okay? And taking with DEI and shit like that, taking an anti-white stance. So what do you think's going to happen? You think white people are going to get more radical? Unfortunately, they are.
$2. Old Timmy was inspired by what he saw at Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. Ruby Ridge was pretty fucked up, bro. Didn't they shoot somebody with a baby in their hands or like a baby right next to him or something? It's been a while, but I remember watching documentaries on that. What was the guy's crime that they were even going after him? I don't even remember. I got to look that up, but I remember how that it was pretty fucked up.
And I predicted this over and over.
See, what my goal is to talk to the America First people, to not call them fucking, well, not the America First. I don't even want to say the American First people because I don't like that they've taken over the term America First. What I would like to do is talk to these people and debate them and go, look, that's not the answer. Like, I get it. You want to be edgy. You want to say a bunch of edgy shit or whatever, but to actually take on the identitarian belief system and be like, to me, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. And I think you'll get further by actually discussing and debating with these people than you will just by calling them Nazis and trying to get them fucking deplatformed and destroyed. Like, you're just going to make them more radical. You're just going to make the problem bigger.
In the last 4, 5, 6 months, I said, Every time we talked about it, I said, you watch, they're double crossing him. When he figures that out, and he's like, you're the ones that are implicated, you're
Robert
the ones that have
Kidley
got problems.
super chatted $2. They turn on true conservatives. They are not C's.
They're Nazis. Well, yeah. Okay, Nazis. Got you. I was like, what's Nazis? Nazis. Yeah, I got you. They do tend to turn on true conservatives, but true conservatives tend to turn on America first all the time too. I mean, look at Trump, the way he's been acting, where it's like, oh, we don't have the ability to, we got to bring in all these Chinese students. We got to we don't have enough skilled workers. We got to bring in more workers. Like, the conservative movement, like when you talk about the neocon conservative movement, has always been fucking terrible. They're the same as the neolibs. And then you bring in Trump and he's like a promise of, hey, something different, an America first agenda, putting the American people first, not every other country in the world first, but actually the people of America first. And then they fucking basically pull a 180 on us and start acting like neocons. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What do I care more about? Conservatism or an actual America first policy that puts Americans first? What do I care more about? Well, America first policy. That's what I care more about. Conservatism can suck my dick. Okay? I'm not all about ideologies. I'm about actually our government like actually behaving in a way that benefits the American people. That's what I'm about.
He's going to go crazy, mad, they have a word for it, ape, S-H, dash T, and he's going to order Bondi to just go after all of them. Larry Summers and Bill Clinton and the heads of the big banks, J.P. Morgan, all of it. Hundreds of them. So finishing up for now on the Epstein situation, and there's a lot of movement on that front. Just remember, Trump is credited by Epstein in the emails and by Wolf, the writer that's trying to take down Trump, in their emails that are out now, that he was the guy that got Epstein put in prison the first time. So again, just don't forget that. Here's President Trump 10 years ago.
Raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
Yeah, and that's why it hurts so much when Trump fucking turns around and is like, nothing to see here. This is a hoax. Stop talking about it. It's like, dude, you were the one that fucking made this. You were one of the first, the early whistleblowers. Like 2015, that's like when I first heard about Epstein. I remember, if I remember right, I remember 2015 going downstairs. My dad was in his little room doing his, checking his emails. And he was like, have you heard about Epstein Island and blah, blah, blah. He was getting it from emails he was getting. And that's the first I remember ever hearing about it was 2015, if I remember right, because that was a long time ago.
Robert Kidley super chatted $2. So you are a white identitarian, not a conservative.
See, Robert, what you're doing is what they do all the time, which is like, when have I ever espoused white identitarian politics? When I say you should not be identitarian and we should actually talk to these people and explain to them why adopting identitarian politics is bad, that makes me a white identitarian. Are you going to actually like meet me at what I'm actually saying, or are you just going to put words in my mouth? Right? I mean, at least if we're going to have a debate, be honest with the debate. Don't put words in my mouth and attribute don't Tucker Carlson me like they're trying to oh, you talk to Nick Fuentes, therefore Tucker Carlson believes everything Nick Fuentes ever said. No, I just have a different strategy than you, Robert. Okay? I don't think attacking people that we want on our side that I agree with on so many fucking things, except for the identitarian shit, I don't think attacking them and pushing them to be more radical and become more identitarian, I don't think that's the right fucking response. That doesn't make me an identitarian unless you're not listening to the words coming out of my mouth.
He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
So yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. What do we got next? Thomas Massey says his showdown with Donald Trump traces back to 3 pro-Israeli billionaires with Epstein ties who are now bankrolling his opponent to push him out of politics. Let's see. I think Massey didn't take anything from Israel, is that right?
Robert Kidley super chatted $2. Yes, you talk about Jeffersonian, but fuck ride Nick.
Fuck ride Nick? Is that what you're saying? I think that would be a weird conclusion to because I've talked so much shit about Nick, but I'm seeing big picture. I'm not just like, oh, let's just throw everybody under the bus. This, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, Robert. You have your opinions, and you're welcome to them, bro. But I disagree. Let's see what Massey has to say.
The president's gone after you in some deeply personal ways. I mean, attacking you over and over again, even attacking you for, regarding your wedding, your recent wedding, which, by the way, congratulations. What do you make of all that? And he's obviously supporting your primary opponents. I mean, what kind of retribution are you facing?
You know, my wife told me, she said, "I told you so. We should have invited Donald Trump. He's mad that he didn't get an invitation."
It's kind of fucked up that Trump is attacking him and his new wife. Like, that's a little dirty, bro.
So we're taking it with a grain of salt. He's being a bully or trying to be a bully. And they're trying to beat me here in Kentucky. But here's what's interesting. The people
Robert
financing this campaign consists completely of three.
You want to have a debate over Nick Fuentes, bro? So you could tell me for an hour how racist Nick Fuentes is, and I'm a racist because I don't fucking just act like the mainstream media and go anti-Semite Nick Fuentes, anti-Semite Nazi Nick Fuentes. I don't know, Robert. I'll think about it. Hit me up on Discord.
Billionaires, and they're all in the Epstein class. In fact, one of them is named in Epstein's phone book, not the secret files that the FBI is keeping, but in Epstein's phone book. So it's a small.
Yeah, Neriel, your point is. That's the reality. Neriel's like, I don't know what to make of Nick because every time I tune in, he's just shit talking everybody. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing what Neriel said because his comment's already gone. And then somebody else said, agreed. I don't know when he's serious or not. I think another move Nick could do is to be like, look, I'm just doing an edgy fucking podcast. I'm trying to be funny. Not everything's meant to be taken seriously. And maybe bow out of politics. That could be a move too, because Nick, if you're not seeing what's happening, you have a bit of toxicity to you that they're going to use.
Reading super chatted $5. If Robert had anything close to a real message, he would elaborate with $5 messages. What a loser.
$100, Redonk. $100. People take away the $2 like alerts if you send $2, because then people will just keep sending him. But I'm cool. You know, he's got his opinion. And like, same thing with Robert as what I say with the Nick crowd is like, I'm not going to attack Robert and call him a piece of shit because he's got a different opinion. This is what we need to do. We actually need to debate these things. So I am open to having Robert on sometime, but I don't have a show right now where I have room for guests. It's all about me. Okay. It's about me and my opinions and fuck what anybody else thinks. This is my show. But yeah, I mean, I understand where Robert's coming from. I do. A lot of people feel the way Robert does. But again, you should be thinking about A equals B, B equals C. What do I do from here that will get me the result that I want? Is attacking all of these fucking kids, is attacking them and calling them Nazis and trying to fucking kick them out of the world, is that going to solve the problem? No, it's not. And again, a lot of these people, they're actually not racist. That's the fucked up part. That's so hard for people to believe.
World.
But okay.
Dogs don't bark.
You got to go again. I wish I would have saved, because I was getting these. I was like, should I save it? And then it's like, oh no, because everybody's sick of me talking about Nick and blah 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 blah. But I should have saved it. There's so many clips. Go find them of Nick sounding, not like an identitarian, saying, "Don't judge people. Don't judge books by their cover. Don't be racist. Don't go up to a Dave Portnoy and scream fucking Jew and throw coins at him." Like, I don't know. That's the thing where, like, to me, Nick needs to really establish what his belief system is and make it clear. Because if he doesn't do that, they're going to use all these edgy boy clips to establish it for him.
Park at parked cars, and we are winning. I'm not tired of winning yet, but we are winning. And not only the speaker, but the attorney general, the FBI director, and the president himself and the vice president, they're taking a big loss this week, because after months of fighting, I am winning this week with Ro Khanna. We're forcing this vote, and it's going to happen. I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement. But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then.
This is the new world we're living in, the life after Trump. What's it going to be like? What's politics going to be like with no Trump? And I think a lot of people are going to be like Massey here, and they're like, look, we need to just already start acting as if there's no Trump. Because I don't know, Trump is a wild card. Being tied to him right now, who knows where he's going to take you.
This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
We'll see. We'll see. President, here we got more on the Marjorie Taylor Greene versus Trump war. This is getting a little wild. Like, you got Democrats now. I think Rankin is like, come on, MTG, come be a Democrat. They're like trying to get MTG to switch over to the Democrat Party. That would be insane if that happened.
Her life is in danger. Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor
Robert
Greene.
Kidley super chatted $5. The left capitalized on Kirk's death and handed the right the poison pill that is Nick Fuentes. I mean, the New York Times essentially crowned him.
Robert, everything you're saying I've said already. And you're absolutely right. Okay, I agree 100%. Nick has done shit that has made him toxic to political movements. And they're going to use that toxicity and they're going to try to spread that toxic message to all of MAGA and to destroy conservatism, to destroy the right. I agree with all that. What I don't agree with is the way out of that problem. I don't think the way out of that problem is to just go to war and start attacking them. I think the way out of that problem is debate, is conversation, is coming to agreements. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think, again, it's almost like, it's like a censorship thing. Is the right thing to do is to censor everybody and kick them off the internet? Is that going to stop them from being racist? Is that going to stop them from being anti-Semitic? No, it's going to make them more racist. It's going to make them more anti-Semitic. So yeah, Robert, we probably agree on a lot of things. I just have a different take on what's the right move to get past this.
I don't think her life is in danger. I don't think.
This is why I've constantly said Nick needs to fucking get out there and really speak his mind about what he really believes. If he's really a Nazi, then come out and say, yes, I'm a Nazi. Yes, I hate Jews. Yes, I hate black. He needs to come out and say that. But that's obviously not what he's going to say.
Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Her life is in danger.
Let's listen to this again.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene made a tweet or a post yesterday where she talked about now her life's in danger because of Trump. So this is Trump responding to that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. I don't think, frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Her life is in.
Look, she's a fucking politician. I guarantee you she has death threats. So the idea that her life's not in danger, like any public figure, especially one as divisive as MTG, has people that want to kill her. Her life is in danger. She needs security. So this is an odd little war that's going on right now. It really is. And I don't think it serves any purpose. Again, this is another example. Should they have just had conversations and got together and worked it out behind the scenes? And, you know, yes, that should have been the right answer. Instead, it's like attack, attack, attack. And this is going to hurt the movement. This is going to hurt the coalition. So it's similar, you know, to what I'm saying about the Nick Fuentes and his following. A reporter just asked why President Trump's voice is raspy, which I've noticed too. And every time he sounds like he's sick, I'm like, uh-oh, you get another booster? Is there another fucking booster in there? But yeah. Hell of
the president's always.
Let's see, it sounds like he was screaming at people.
News, your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Hell of the president.
So Trump's yelling at somebody. I'm sure behind the scenes, they're seeing a lot of damage being done, self-caused by Trump. This is shit that's self-caused by Trump. Yeah, and he's just yelling at his staff, blaming it on them. And it's like, well, you're the dumbass who said that. Here's MTG responding.
I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. And I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And
this is, man, she looks like she's about to cry. This is sad. This is pretty sad.
And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with...
What did she do? Sage 2? She kept wanting to get the Epstein files. She kept fighting for H-1B visa reform. She stayed America first while Trump became neocon first. That's what she did.
Children who are in terrible sex abuse situations, and I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
We're going to find out tomorrow. Supposedly they're supposed to vote tomorrow. Hopefully everybody still votes for it, and then hopefully Trump signs it, and we get some fucking transparency. Trump mocks Green's safety concerns and calls her a traitor. This is so fucking pointless and useless, dude. It really is. It really is. Like, this infighting right now, it's not helping anything.
She is joined by Thomas Massie.
And it seems like the Democrats are trying to fucking actually pull her over to their side. That's crazy.
Who has really taken the lead on the...
What do we got on the vote? 81% for legalization? How many votes do we got? 104 votes? Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge poll, but 80% are for legalizing marijuana. I even spelled it wrong. I spelled it legalize. What a retard. What a retard I am. Yeah, I guess 20% of you guys are in the minority. But yeah. That's good to see. That restores my hope for humanity.
Search petition. Let me show you what he had to say on ABC.
The president has gone after you in some deeply personal ways. I mean, attacking you over and over again, even attacking you for regarding your wedding, your recent wedding, which, by the way, congratulations. What do you make of all that? And he's obviously supporting your primary opponents. I mean, what kind of retribution are you facing?
You know, my wife told me, she said, "I told you so. We should have invited Donald Trump. He's mad that he didn't get an invitation." People find...
Yeah, we saw this already. Let's see.
Who was first real prominent one. It ended up being Miles Taylor, who was the chief of staff at Donald Trump's first Department of Homeland Security, who detailed the first real look inside. But it culminated maybe for Trump 1.0 in the January 6th Select Committee's public hearings, where all the witnesses, or 90% of them, were former Trump senior West Wing officials, the vice president's chief of staff, the White House counsel, the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who called Trump's delusions of losing an election, BS. What is the state of denial that the complaints are coming from deep inside the MAGA coalition?
I think, to your point, Nicole, the difficulty here 10 years in, and especially with a lame duck president as this one, who cannot run for another term, is where does the power go from here? And I was just talking a few minutes ago with somebody who was close with Marjorie Taylor Greene and with the president.
I hope you guys are ready for a battle within the Republican Party. There's no way around it. A lot of the infighting, yeah, it gets annoying, but there is going to be a battle. Who's going to lead the Republican Party after Trump? Is it going to be neocons or is it going to be an America First movement? That is a big battle worth fighting. And that's why it's frustrating to see Trump fucking abandoning America First right now. Because it's like, dude, this is when we need to be the most fucking America First, dude.
And has been a key backer here as part of this sort of, MAGA resurrection since 2021, who suggested to me that Marjorie Taylor Greene was disappointed that she was not more seriously considered for the VP slot the second go around, and then was very frustrated that President Trump told her that he did not believe that she could win statewide for either governor or Senate in the state of Georgia. And that is suddenly where you look at somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who over the last 4 years was at about pretty much every rally that you could name in whatever state, from North Carolina to Arizona to Georgia on over. And that is where the conversations that I'm having now, in the words we're hearing from Marjorie Taylor Greene, they actually make me reflect largely on similar conversations I had back in 2022 with Mo Brooks, the congressman from Alabama who Donald Trump ran out of town. And you folks will recall he actually spoke at that January 6th event, the Stop the Steal event, and said that they were going to take names and kick ass. But when suddenly Mo Brooks got pushed to the side.
Nerio, that's a good question. Nerio asked, is America First a political organization or a media platform? It depends who you ask. If you ask Nick Fuentes, he'd be like, I am America First. My show is America First. To me, America First is an ideology. It's very simple in the name. You put America first. As Americans, we feel like our government is putting everything above us. They're putting the needs of foreign countries above us. They're putting basically everybody's needs above the American people. And it's a simple ideology of like, we need to do what's right for America. It's not an isolationist mentality where it's like, oh, we can't have good trade deals. We can't have good relationships. But we need a government that actually represents the American people, because it doesn't feel like we have that. So it's simple. You put America first. It's an ideology. That's my opinion. You're welcome to disagree.
He was the one that started sounding the alarms that Donald Trump, unless you go with him 100% of the time, like he resisted when Donald Trump, he alleged, called him and tried to convince other members of Congress to nullify the election results, years after, that is where, when you're looking at this dynamic here, I think what Donald Trump has to be worried about is just how far does distrust spread, because he's sort of this one singular individual who during the pandemic was able to convince a large swath of the American public that he was getting rid of the coronavirus and that it was safe to go outside with a mask. He is somebody who singularly, in two different terms across two different trade wars, has been able to convince a great many people that short-term economic consequence is going to be long-term worth, or it's going to be worth the long-term potential fruit that is born out of this fight. And so when you're looking at this moment here, I think that this is where Marjorie Taylor Greene is pushing back, because, to a great many of these members of Congress in the Senate and the House, that trust among voters doesn't extend to them like it does for Donald Trump. And so in a way, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the embodiment of somebody that has sold MAGA the Donald Trump way. And if she were not to carry that out, could very well have a hard time reconciling the fact that there's a great many voters who, whether you look at Charles Herbst or Roy Moore or Herschel Walker, that an issue like this, sex trafficking, sexual harassment, sexual assault, not everybody in American politics here in the year of 2025 is given the same leniency as Donald Trump specifically has been.
I mean, the political story is a lot simpler than all of this. Donald Trump is less popular than releasing the Epstein files. Full stop.
I mean, what do you expect Marjorie Taylor Greene to do? Like, she ran on America First. She is American First. She seems to truly believe it, not just be a fucking talking point to get elected. And because you're flipping on that and going fucking neocon first, she has to flip too. Otherwise, now she's a traitor. If you ask me, who's acting more like a traitor right now, MTG or Trump? It's clearly Trump. It's clearly fucking Trump.
Releasing the Epstein files is one of the most popular things in American politics. The second most popular, I think, was the economy before Trump wrecked it.
Yeah. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, listen, this reminds me a little bit of when we used to talk about Liz Cheney. You know, I remember some of my friends, you know, saying, Claire, how can you be saying kind words about Liz Cheney? I said, well, because she did the right thing at the right time.
No, she didn't. Liz Cheney was a piece of shit. So this is what you're seeing. The mainstream media will make the neocons and the neolibs look like the only option. Because they're the reasonable ones. They're not the racist, Nazis, Nick Fuentes types. And that will be the goal. I don't think they really care if it's the neocons or the neolibs. As long as it's back to that fucking dichotomy. It's right back to George Bush or Bill Clinton. You know, it's either it's a branch of one of those two paths. That's what they want.
Yes, we disagreed on many, many things. And obviously, I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene about just about everything. But she read the room, Nicole. She read the room. She has a political antenna here that is...
The Cheney ass kissing is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me. I don't think you could have a political family that is worse, that has done worse to this country than the fucking Cheneys. Specifically, Dick Cheney. Rest in peace, by the way. This is getting interesting with Mexico.
Swocko super chatted $1.99. We're all traitors now, ping.
Yeah, well, of course we are. Yeah, America first. If you actually are America first and you don't want to see us send billions of dollars to Gaza to rebuild Gaza, you don't want to send $40 billion to fucking Argentina, and you want to see actual funds being used to help Americans. You want to see actual H-1B reform. You want to see wages of the American worker go up. You're a fucking traitor, bro. Just sit down and let the neocons fucking march us into more fucking wars in the Middle East. Or if not, you're a traitor. You're an absolute traitor. This Mexico shit is getting interesting. It's getting pretty interesting. We'll cover some of this right now.
Christian C. super chatted $4.99. Miss the funny Joe Rogan clips. I guess that JRE and MAGA are dead, but a bummer to see no more fun. Cheers for the laughs back in the day. Take care.
I don't think JRE is dead. I think Rogan got what he wanted. Remember, Rogan went to Spotify because he wanted the show to be smaller. I think he didn't like this is a reality that a lot of people don't understand. Like, being a creator or doing a show like this, it's great up to a certain point. Like right now, I have a small show. I have a small little loyal audience. I can have fun. I don't have a bunch of people in my business trying to fucking ruin me. When you get to the size that Rogan got to, you become a target. You have a giant target on your back. And I think he didn't like that. So I think Rogan's where he wants to be now, where he's still popular, he's still influential, but he's not the guy. So wait, I don't think JRE is dead. I do think might be some throttling going on with anything Rogan, unless it's a negative Rogan. But yeah, the edits aren't dead, bro. I actually have one that I was working on last night. So I'm not saying it's going to come out, but I do plan on having some edits, at least one edit coming out this Christmas season. Okay. So the edits aren't done. They're just hard to make because they're like, they take so much fucking time. And they don't bring the views in the way they used to. So, they'll be kind of, little special events when I make an edit. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. And I appreciate the warm words. It's been a lot of fun making them. But yeah, I'm still going to do editing. It's just not going to be my normal thing because it doesn't pay the bills. If all I was doing was editing, I would be out of a job. This live stream keeps me on a job and it's fun. And, the reward long term is probably much more than doing the edits. Not to mention, YouTube, because of AI, YouTube's really gotten hardcore with those type of edits, with like not really wanting them to be shared too much. It's weird. But yeah, ever since they introduced the AI shit and like you got to market as AI, that seems to have been a bit of a problem for that type of work. But yeah, there'll be more. Don't think there won't be more. I'm just not going to do 4 a month if they're only getting 20,000 views a piece. Like I just like the reward for that amount of work becomes hard to justify. But yeah, definitely look for one next month. President Trump says he would strike inside Mexico to take out the cartels and narco terrorists. Huge. This would be interesting if this actually went down.
in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with it?
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs.
Okay, well, what if we legalize drugs? What if we legalized it? That would probably stop it. But every time we make something illegal, what happens? People don't stop using it. They just go to the black market. Who runs the black market? The cartels. So, I don't know. I know everybody's like, well, we don't want to become like Portland. Well, I mean, we don't have to become like
El
Portland.
Jefe super chatted
What's up, El Jefe?
$20. Love the live shows, brother. I'm glad hanging out with us is profitable.
Yeah, it's fun too, El Jefe. I enjoy doing the show, especially like right now. I mean, there might be a point in time if I did blow up, it might become stressful or whatever. But right now, it's a lot of fun, man. And you guys are very supportive. Like, it's crazy how much support you guys give for the size of the show, you know? So obviously, a lot of you guys are enjoying it too. So yeah, it's, you know, I'm going against the grain here. When you have a channel, it's never welcomed for you to mix content. You made one video about somebody picking their nose, and now every video has to be about people picking their nose. And it's like, I just refuse to do that. And I understand. You know, it causes me to lose subscribers. But at a certain point, what's the point of having subscribers? They don't seem to mean anything anymore. I've seen it firsthand. Like when I went from 60,000 subscribers to 240 over a summer, over a period of 3 months, what reward did I get for that? I got less views. I got less views with more subscribers. So it's like, at a certain point, you have to, what I've done is taken the mindset of, rather than just go for views and virality, I'd rather build a loyal audience that doesn't care about any of that shit, that's just loyal to what I do, and is going to show up for everything I do. And to me, that's more beneficial in the long run. I'm already making more money taking that stance than to just, let me just chase virality. Let me just chase whatever goes viral. Let me just chase views. Like, look, if that's what you want to do, great, but I'm just not what I'm doing anymore. And it wasn't working. So, you know, not like it was, I made the choice to stop doing that. It just stopped working. So, but yeah, so here's the show. It's almost been a full year of doing the show now. I think it's been like, what, a year of doing the show? Pretty close. So, hey, you know, we'll kick off another year next year, and, we'll see. As long as I'm healthy and able to do the show, it's going to be a regular thing, probably until I'm too old to do it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, you know, and there will be occasional edits too, guys. So don't get sad about the loss of edits. There will be occasional edits.
Mexico is, look, I looked at Mexico.
Thank you for the big super chat, brother. That's really appreciated. You rock. Thank you so much.
There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir.
I don't know who the 15% would be. It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
No, I think it's been...
Tons and tons of
You would
drugs.
say that's a big signal.
Absolutely.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea, by, the waterways. And you know why, okay? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Would I do that on the land corridors? I would absolutely. Look, every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. Not to mention the destruction of families. These families are decimated forever. The mother, the father, the children, they never recover really from it. You know, when you lose somebody, like the way they live, if you lose them, but the way they die is horrible.
Is it something?
So when we knock out a boat and we save 25,000 lives, that's great. Now, do I feel the same way about the corridors that they use? We know every one of them. We have every one of those corridors under major surveillance. We have nobody coming in through our southern border. But we know exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
Would you only do it with Mexico's permission, though?
I wouldn't answer that question.
I think you kind of have to. I don't think we're going to be willing to go to war with Mexico. You know, we're just going to do it. Here's the problem. We got a clip from Steinbaum, and Steinbaum apparently according to Steinbaum, the president of Mexico, it would be illegal to actually go after the cartels. And she cares about the rule of law. They're so full. It's so clear. I feel bad for the people of Mexico, man. Like, how did you end up with this dumb bitch running things?
I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs.
I don't know, man. I know it's like not been pretty legalizing drugs in Portland and all that, but Portland's a shithole already. But like, you have people addicted to fentanyl. Wouldn't it be better to have like some clinics for them where you can maybe take care of them, make sure they get clean shit, and then like try to like wean them off? Like, I don't know, dude. That would seem better than just like, hey, just go buy it from the black market and hope it doesn't murder you. I don't know, man. Mexico president says that waging war against cartel terrorism is illegal and fascist. This is a fucking winner right here, bro. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we can't go after the organized mob that has taken over our country because that would be against the law, and we care about laws, don't we?
Para la guerra contra el narco no es opción. No es opción. Primero, porque está fuera del marco de la ley. Todos estos de la derecha que se llenan la boca de las palabras Estado de Derecho y defienden la guerra contra el narco. Pues la guerra contra el narco está fuera de la ley, porque como lo dije o lo he dicho en varias ocasiones, es permiso para matar.
This is a government. Oh, this is so disgusting, bro. This is so fucking disgusting. Sorry, guys. I know your government has been corrupted by a cartel. It's literally like you're being run by criminals. But, you know, we got to follow the law, guys. It would be illegal to actually do something about it. Somebody made a comparison to like Pearl Harbor, and it's like, oh yeah, what if we were like, well, we have to make sure we give these Japanese due process before we shoot them out of the sky. Oh man, the poor citizens of these poor countries, man, to have these type of people being your leaders, it's fucking disgusting, bro. It's fucking disgusting.
Sin ningún juicio. Y eso en México nadie o muy poquitos están de acuerdo.
Yeah, very few. Everybody's just okay with it. Yeah. No, we don't want to break the laws, so we have to allow a criminal cartel to run our country and bribe all of our politicians and murder our politicians. 500 in the last 5 years, somewhere around there, an estimate. Yeah, we have to allow all that to go on because the law, guys, the law.
Está fuera del marco de la ley. Y segundo, no sirvió de nada más que para aumentar los homicidios en México.
Oh, do you want the cartel to kill more of you? That's what's going to happen. You don't want to die, right? You don't want to be murdered by the cartel, so just let them run everything, guys. Just let them run everything. I can't believe she's saying this out loud.
Y el nivel de violencia. Entonces, estos llamados autoritarios, porque son autoritarios, es ir hacia el fascismo.
Yeah, it's authoritarian, guys. You're a fascist authoritarian if you don't want fucking criminal gangs running your country, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit, I've never seen something so fucking blatantly fucking corrupt in my entire life. Well, let's listen to this sweet Mexican lady. Let's see what she thinks.
Y le pedimos al gobierno de Estados Unidos, listen, Trump, listen, see? Come and help us, and please come and get the shit out of Mexico. Come and get Obrador, come and get Claudia fucking Sheinbaum.
Gracias, muchas gracias, gracias.
I think she speaks for most Mexicans. I mean, this is how you'd expect people to react. Oh, I'm tired of this criminal fucking entity running my life, corrupting my government. Like, oh, holy shit, this lady, I don't know how she thinks she can say this shit she just said, and it's no problem. It's no problem. Lol, I feel sorry for her though, because the cartels are so close to her inner circle. Oh yeah. There's definitely, like, she can't change or she'll get murdered. But I think what she could do is she could reach out to America and be like, hey, we need to fix this, and I don't know what to do because if I say anything, I'm going to be murdered. Can I go to America and fucking help organize with you guys like the destruction of the cartel from a safe place, and then once the cartel's gone, I'll go back. Like, if you cared about your country, you'd be willing to die for your country. But not that many people are willing to die for their country anymore, are they? Especially the presidents. No, everybody else has to die, not her. So Mark Levine and Tucker Carlson. Mark Levine is fucking terrible, is he not, dude? Is he not one of the worst? But yeah, him and Tucker going at it now. Everybody's attacking Tucker, dude. They're trying to make Tucker enemy number one. They're trying to use the accusations of anti-Semitism, of Nazi shit against Nick Fuentes, and it's all about taking out Tucker. And if it works, and they're able to destroy Tucker because of it, we're going to see it employed against everybody. You either disavow and you kiss the fucking ring of the neocons, or you get what happened to Tucker. That's going to happen to you.
The last month, we've been watching.
That could be the future. We'll see. We'll see.
Mark Levin say things that no one in my lifetime has ever said from the right. Like this. Watch.
I don't know where this Jew hatred from the Marxists, the Islamists, the neo-Nazis, the grifters. I don't know where they're pulling us and pushing us. What do they want to do with American Jews? What do they want to do? Where are they taking this country? They're destroying it. Carlson, Owens, Kelly, Bannon, it is a time for choosing. You pick the good guys or the bad guys. You pick America or you pick the Third Reich. They're not.
Jesus, dude. That's the choice. That's the choice. Neocons or the Nazi party? It's neocons or fucking we're gonna deport all the Jews. Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on now.
Not MAGA. They're not conservative. In fact, they're more Marxist, Islamist, America-hating, Jew-hating thugs than anything else. And let me educate them briefly. The Babylonians couldn't kill the Jews. The Persians couldn't kill the Jews. The Romans couldn't kill the Jews. Hitler couldn't kill the Jews, and by this I mean eliminate them.
You had to be careful there. Because if you didn't add that caveat, they might start accusing him of being a Holocaust denier. And now you're the new anti-Semite.
You think your puny little asses are going to be able to do it?
I don't think they want to eliminate the Jews, bro. I think they just want to get rid of Israel's influence over our politics. And they don't want, you know, the whole Iran thing kind of scared some people that, oh, we're going to start fighting more wars for Israel.
Admiral Super chatted $2. Commander Rockwell of the U.S. Navy.
Okay, shout out Commander Rockwell of the U.S. Navy. I don't know what we're talking about, Adam, but shout out to him.
Kill the Jews.
I'm sure there's more to that.
Jews? Your first thought is, wait a second, how do we get to that?
Olive Super chatted $5. Hey ping.
What's up, Olive?
Completely unrelated question. Do you play /R into any video games? Time for the stream BTW smile.
The game I've been playing most lately is Puck. It's I mean, you're a chick, Olive, so you're probably not going to like it because it's not a chick game. Olive's probably playing like all those chick games. What games are you playing, Olive? Yeah, I play a lot of Puck right now. It's really fun. It's a very difficult game, but it's like a first-person hockey game where your stick is like controlled by your mouse, and it's super fucking difficult, but it's so much fun once you get the hang of it. Yeah, that's about it. That's about all I'm playing right now. I need a new game. I beat Kingdom Come 2 about a month ago, and since then, yeah, I've just been playing Puck. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I did want a game with everybody, but in the Discord, like most people don't play the same games, you know? But yeah, Puck's really good. If you like hockey, it's a fucking amazing game. It's underrated too. Like it's kind of, at some point people are going to discover Puck and it's going to blow up. It's going to be huge. But right now it's still kind of a small community. Thank you, Olive.
Your puny little asses?
She plays Animal Crossing. I told you, Olive. The games you ladies play, man. I don't understand it. It's either that or RPGs and shit. But hey, you do you, Olive. You do you.
Are going to be able to do it?
Kill the Jews? Your first thought is, wait a second, how do we get to that? No. just don't want a regime change war against Rwanda. By the way, a war in which Jews would die, presumably, both in the U.S. military and the IDF. Like, no, don't want to kill anybody. Actually, that's kind of the point. You want to kill the Jews? So the first thing you notice is like the total inversion of what the argument actually is. It's an argument about to what extent should U.S. military power be used on behalf of another country, not the United States. That's it. That's the debate. And all of a sudden it becomes the Babylonians, the Nazis trying to kill the Jews. So again, it's an inversion. He's accusing his opponents of really what he wants, as always. The second thing you notice is how totally personal this is. You're members of the Third Reich. You're Nazis. You're evil. You're an Islamist. You hate Jews. You're an anti-Semite. You hate America. Okay. That's ad hominem. There's no even attempt to address the argument that anyone Mark Levin doesn't agree with is making. Instead, it's just attacking them as people. And the third thing you notice is what animates this, which is hate. Mark Levin is filled with hate, obviously. And hate is one of those words that is thrown around a lot as a weapon. You're filled with hate. That's hate. It's hate speech. Therefore, you can't say it, etc. But that doesn't mean just because the word itself is used cynically that the term doesn't describe anything or that hate isn't real. Hate is absolutely real. Hate is absolutely real. And if you listen to enough Mark Levin, you yourself can become.
Is it Levin or Levine? I could have sworn I've heard people say his name Levine. I don't know.
Hateful. Reacting against it can turn you into what he claims you are. And that's just a fact of human nature. You stick your face right up against this. After a while, you will become hateful. All of us, even people who are committed to not being that way. It happened to me last week, a week ago tonight. I'm sitting on stage with Megyn Kelly at an event she was doing in New York. And I think Dick Cheney had died that day. And I knew Dick Cheney, obviously, and he had died. And I disagree with Dick Cheney, but I'm not going to criticize a man on the day he dies. I'm just not going to do that because I have reverence for death. But I had a lot of emotion on the topic. And so I said a few nice words about Dick Cheney. He was a great flycaster or whatever. And then I started thinking about his daughter, Liz Cheney, whom I also know.
He was a good hunter, too. You know, just don't walk in front of him.
And have disliked intensely for quite some time because she slandered me and because I think she is a violence espouser, and I disagree with that, and I have contempt for it. But rather than say that, I just attacked in a vicious way Liz Cheney. And I said something awful about Liz Cheney, actually. Didn't explain why I was mad at Liz Cheney. I just slandered Liz Cheney, basically. And I said that her father would be ashamed of her, and if I had a daughter like that, I'd probably kill myself.
That's let's move on. Let's move on.
Awful thing to say. It's kind of hard to believe I said that. But in my mind, I was thinking of all the people I dislike, Liz Cheney would probably be at the top of the list. And so therefore, because I dislike her personally, because I know her personally, and because I so disagree with everything about her political views, I'm the opposite of Liz Cheney. If you were to graph it out, I'd be on one side, Liz Cheney on the other. Because we disagree so profoundly, I told myself, clearly I must have told myself, that you could say anything you want about Liz Cheney. She's not really human. You can say anything you want, including something really awful and nasty, like if I was her dad, I would kill myself. Who thinks like that? Who talks like that? Well, I did. And so I just want to say I'm sorry to Liz Cheney, and I mean that too. I mean that.
It's refreshing, somebody on the internet or on TV, a personality who's like, I did something wrong. Because it's so rare. I mean, this is the personalities. They have to pretend like they're right about everything. They're never wrong. Even when they're obviously wrong, they got to triple, quadruple down. I'm never wrong. Show some humility, man. Because we're wrong every day. All of us are wrong multiple times a day. That's just life. That's being human.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry I said that. I will not stop disagreeing with Liz Cheney until she changes her views. I hope that she does. But there is never an excuse to talk about people like that. And that kind of is the trap here. Mark Levin is almost 70 years old. No one's going to eat the dog food here, okay? That is not a message anyone's going to buy. So the fear is not that Mark Levin will take over American politics. That's not going to happen. The fear is that we become Mark Levin. By staring at Mark Levin too much, we become him. Another way of putting it is the fight is not against Mark Levin and the many Mark Levins out there, the screamers, the slanderers, the impugners of character, the liars. The real fight is within ourselves. The real fight is against our own nature, our own natural inclination to, in the face of Mark Levin, become Mark Levin. And the cost is to us. You hurt yourself. Don't become evil. Because what's the point? What is the point? And the only way to prevent yourself from becoming that person is by admitting that you've acted like that person and apologizing for it sincerely, not in a fake way. Oh, I'm sorry if you didn't like it. No, I'm sorry, because that's wrong. And it's exactly what I don't like about someone else. And I don't like it about myself when I do it. And I'm going to try not to do it again. And of course I will do it. Probably by the end of the show, I'll do it again because I'm prone to that, because I get mad. But we need to say every single time we do that, no, I'm sorry I did that. And I'll try my best not to do it again. So really, just to keep in mind, as things heat up, don't become the people you despise, or else what's the point?
I think that applies to the America First crowd, the Nick Fuentes crowd. I mean, it's very poignant in this day and age, because I think there's a big risk of that. There's a risk of Trump becoming what we hated. There's a risk of our own movement becoming what we hated. We got to remember to be better. We got to be better than what we hate. Otherwise, what are we? What's the point of it? What's the point of our movement if we just become the same fucking thing that we wanted to replace so badly? It's a good point.
We wind up, the Second World War is that story. We're fighting for freedom, but we're arming Joseph Stalin to do it.
Super chatted $2.
Oh, you have to
I am
be.
an electrician. I try to be humble the most.
Yeah, because it's life or death for you, bro. If you can't admit when you did something wrong, or like double check your work, like triple check your work, yeah. Electrical work is it's serious business, man. Serious business. Shout out to the electricians out there. Shout out to the real men holding it down, keeping the lights on. You know, this is the trades, man. The skills like electricians, plumbers, fucking people that's the shit that AI is not going to replace. Maybe someday they'll have robots that will do your fucking electrical wiring. But I think the people that are going to be Gucci when AI starts replacing jobs, it's not going to be the middle managers. It's not going to be the fucking useless middlemen just shifting money back and forth. It's going to be the plumbers. It's going to be the electricians. It's going to be the mechanics. It's going to be the sheet layers, the fucking, the tradesmen, man. There ain't no robots that are going to be able to do that job for a long time. Hopefully.
We sent more money and airplanes and tanks and jeeps and boots and food to Joseph Stalin, the greatest mass murderer in history, in order to bring what? Freedom to the world? It's not a defense of Hitler, of course, but that's shameful. The Roosevelt administration did that with the full support of his party. It's like, don't become the thing that you hate. That's it. And if you don't do that, if you allow yourself to get carried away, so mad that you start mimicking the hate that's coming at you, what happens? Well, of course, it flowers into violence. Like, that's inevitable. We're very close to that now. In fact, we're there in some ways. It's happened. We're still talking about a political assassination, a friend's political assassination on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was murdered because of this. So it can happen, and it will happen unless all of us prevent ourselves from becoming that. And by the way, you can't control other people. All you can do is control your own behavior. So if you act like that, apologize for it. I'm going to really try and do that. But we are absolutely moving toward violence.
Adam Rowe super
and
chatted
it should...
$2. I can replace a toilet with my eyes closed.
Well, I mean,
smile.
That's high level talent right there, Adam. See, you got the skills, bro. You got the skills. You're set. I mean, really, people do need to start learning trades, man. If you don't you're worried about your future, I don't know, maybe on the weekends, study plumbing, study electrical work, start laying the groundwork for a skill that AI can't fucking do. And then a lot of these people don't realize the upward mobility of it. Like, you become an electrician or a plumber, you get good at your job. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you could then branch off to you're having your own company and hiring a bunch of plumbers that work for you. And then next thing you know, you're a fucking millionaire. More Americans need to start getting with that. that mentality rather than the, oh, let me go to college for 8 years to fucking basically learn nothing and end up with a shitty fucking job and tons of fucking debt.
Be really clear. That's the other thing is you don't want to espouse violence because where does it go? It always begets more violence 100% of the time. September 11th led to millions of deaths in the Middle East. Yeah. October 7th led to Gaza. Like this all, once the violence begins, you can't predict its course, but you can be fairly certain it will accelerate. And when that happens, all calculations change and people change. And the feud becomes irresolvable and more people die. And that could happen in our country. So the only way to stop it is by controlling your own behavior so you yourself don't become evil.
I think this is a very poignant message, not just Tucker, he's like talking about himself, but this is a message that I think is when you have the debates with the American First types, who again, we agree on so much. This is a powerful statement that I think that group needs to hear. Because hatred, dude, it's not the way. I know it sounds fucking cheesy, sounds very fucking cringe, but it's not. It's not. You're just gonna basically harden everybody in their positions, and you're gonna make fucking more hatred. You know, if you disagree with somebody and you go up to them and you treat them with kindness and you listen to them and you hear them out and you kindly address their stances and debate them in a kind way with like love in your heart, you can actually move into a space where like the world improves. But if you take that same person and you take the stance of fuck you, you piece of shit, get out of my face, you Nazi loving piece of shit. I hope you die. I hope your fucking family dies. I hope your balls shrivel up and fall off. And like, what are you going to get? You're going to get more hatred. You're going to get a hardening of stances. And, yeah, it's just, in the long run, it's not the right move.
So Mark Levin is already there. And we know that because Mark Levin has repeatedly, and he's not the only one, but he's the most blunt, has repeatedly called for just murdering civilians, children in Gaza.
Yeah, Matt Cheddar, this would be a good one. This episode would be a good edit. There's too many gems that could be used out of context. That's the danger. That's the danger of speaking.
Gaza, because they're Amalek or whatever, they're stained by blood guilt. The Prime Minister of Israel said exactly the same thing. They are guilty by virtue of how they were born. So that, by definition, includes women and children. So Mark Levin is not clever enough to keep the implications of these views to himself, and he said them repeatedly on television, just to give you a sense about how Mark Levin feels about human life and the human soul. Watch this.
And I'm supposed to, what? Shed crocodile tears for what's going to happen to these people? I'm not. Maybe I'm the only one who will voice it, but I'm not.
These people, you mean your fellow Americans? Your fellow Americans who can't afford a house, struggling to put food on the fucking table, and they're pissed off, and they might not be lashing out in a way that you approve of, but at the end of the day, they're your fellow Americans, and it's just these people. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't care. They can die for all I care. Yeah. You're the good guy in this, Mark.
Israel has every right to throw every damn thing it has.
Oh, no, actually, sorry. He's talking about Gaza. He's not talking about the American people. He's talking about Gaza.
At barbarians. And if there are innocent people, quote unquote, civilians who are killed, then maybe they ought to organize to take out the government they elected.
Yeah, fuck it. Kill people. Yeah, let's just murder people, guys. Fuck them. Fuck them. Let's dehumanize these people and just kill them. Just kill them. That's it. Obviously, I don't feel that way, but that's what it sounds like Mark Levin is saying. And then if you have a problem with that, you're an anti-Semite. Mark Levin is the genius who coined the new ideology of you can't even say neocon. If you say neocon, that means you're an anti-Semite. You see how the window of what can be considered anti-Semitism keeps growing. It's like, oh, you don't want more foreign wars? You don't like what's happening in Gaza? Anti-Semite. Oh, you don't like foreign countries having undue influence over anti-Semite. Everything now, man. They got to stop hiding behind that shit because it just makes it so that like people don't believe it. So when you do have a real anti-Semite step up, people aren't going to believe you because you use that shit too much. You're the boy who cried wolf. Mark Levine, you are the little shithead that cried wolf, and no one's going to believe you.
Tapper and the others are saying there's 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. They're not all terrorists. They don't all believe in Hamas. They really have no choice. Let me ask you a question. Is that how we treated the German people when we were fighting the Third Reich? Well, they're not.
It's always a comparison to Nazis. If you guys were in charge, like Germany would be running everything right now. We have to murder everybody. If we don't murder everybody we say we have to murder, then we're all going to end up like Nazi Germany. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you do about this. It's a weird situation. It's like, you're not for war. You're not for more murdering. You're not for just civilians being killed. I guess you're pro-Hitler then. You're pro-Hitler.
Not all Nazis. I mean, you got to fight to win and survive. You can't sit there and figure all that stuff out. Oh, but don't hurt the civilians. Look, we have to defend ourselves.
So fuck that baby. Could you just, like, as a baby's getting blown into smithereens, look, we have to defend ourselves. Oh, don't hurt the civilians. Yeah, Mark Levine, that's you're defending yourself, blowing up fucking civilians, dude. I mean, if you cared, if you wanted less hatred for Israel, if you wanted less anti-Semitism, I don't know, maybe less wars? Because to me, there's a direct correlation with more war and more anti-Israel sentiment. So maybe just stop having this mentality. And maybe people will stop talking about Israel and forget about Israel like the world was, not too long ago.
The Israelis have to defend ourselves. The free world has to defend itself.
Yeah, so fuck them babies.
And if there's collateral damage, well, that's too bad.
He sounds so fucking unhinged, dude. This is okay to say, right? This is okay to say. Nick Fuentes can't say what he says, but he can go on and say shit like this, and he's fine. He's fine.
25 years ago in this country, people didn't talk that way. They didn't. It was a different landscape, different expectations.
Adam Rowe super chatted $2. I enlisted in 2003, did 4 deployments in Arabia.
Well, thank you for your service, bro. Thank you for your service. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't go to Iraq. I was of that age. I could have, if I would have enlisted, I would have gone to Iraq. And I was like, nope. No worse for me. But yeah, a lot of people, I had a lot of friends after 9/11. They were gung-ho, man, And yeah, a lot of them didn't come back, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for your service, Adam. And if you need an electrician, Adam's your guy. If you need somebody to install your toilet with his eyes closed, Adam's your guy. Adam is never going to be seeking work. Adam is always going to have plenty of work for the rest of his life.
Blood guilt,
shout out to
that's
Adam.
what he's
Thank you,
describing there. You should be killed by virtue of who your parents are, who your grandparents were, by virtue of how you were born. You should be killed. You don't have a right to live. You're guilty because you were born, and which, of course, leads to collective punishment and genocide. That's the basis of genocide right there, that attitude. That was considered totally un-Christian and un-American because it is. And if someone said something like that on television, I mean, he'd be probably pulled off the air for that.
No, but you don't understand. A terrorist attack, because you are a victim of a terrorist attack, that means you can murder anybody you want now. That means you can go and bomb an entire fucking population of civilians that have nothing to do with it because of one terrorist that's hiding in there among all of them. Then, yeah, Trump's talking about we're going to fund the rebuilding of Gaza. Of course, America is going to pay for it. It's not like we're having huge financial issues and economic issues. Like, no, yeah, we'll rebuild Gaza. We'll pay for it. Anything else you need paid for? Sudan, you need some gold toilets? Hit us up. I mean, Apparently, we're just, the world's fucking pocketbook, dude. Anything you need paid for, we're here. We're here for you.
Kill kids because...
Unless you're an American, then you get nothing.
You don't like their parents? That is their attitude. That's the Israeli government's attitude. Well-documented attitude. We're paying for that. And you could say, well, you don't have to hate Israel, but that behavior is not better than Hamas at all. In fact, it's kind of the same, right? You killed civilians. They came in and killed people at a music festival. Bibi, turns out, let them in. We found out today in the Knesset. But whatever you think of what happened on October 7th, Israeli civilians were killed. That's terrible. We're against that. We have to be against that, and we're no better than the people we're fighting, of course. What is the difference between us and them? We're in different groups.
Adam Rowe super chatted $5. I fucking went. There is simply a quota for dealing with bullshit. I was a combat electrician. Now I am a Cape Cod guy.
I felt that. I fucking went. I felt that, Adam. I felt the pain there. Yeah, I've known a lot of people that went, the burn pits, the amount of damage, like people, their lungs are fucked for life. Did you deal with the burn pits, bro? You get your lungs all fucked up? El Jefe, what's up, brother? Another 10 gifted from El Jefe, the big guy who's always just super generous with the gifted memberships. Thank you so much, brother. I'm every night I gotta say thank you because you're so fucking generous. Thank you, El Jefe. You're the man, bro. Everybody say thank you to El Jefe. I wish we had a special reward we could give him, like make him king of the chat or something. El Jefe, you're king of the chat at this point. Welcome, Dave's Waffle House. Oh, you just made me so fucking hungry. You just made me so hungry thinking about the Waffle House. Gulf Coast, Florida, man. Legend. Ectoplasm Arcade. Welcome. Joe Frisco. Nice name. Dr. Frost, 325. James G. Grant T. Salty Rules. Max Normal. A bunch of great names like usual. Welcome to the Ping Dynasty. Welcome to Team Ping, courtesy of El Jefe. Thank you so much, El Jefe. Please say thank you to El Jefe if you got one of those cash money free memberships.
Oops. That's not a meaningful difference. The difference is we're committed to a set of Western principles, and those principles begin with we reject blood guilt. And because we do, we reject collective punishment and genocide. A lot of us thought that was a consensus after World War II. That was the lesson of the Nazi regime. Should have been the lesson of the Soviet regime, which of course practiced collective punishment and committed genocide against Christians. Most people don't even know that. It did more efficiently than the Nazis did, but all of it is terrible.
And why is that okay? It's weird how we don't really ever think about the amount of Christian hardship. Christians have been persecuted and murdered and pretty similar to what the Jews have gone through, but it's not the same thing, right? You can talk shit about Christians. You can talk about how terrible Christianity is, and you can do that all day. You don't get called an anti-Christian or an anti-this or that. You're just a normal person. But man, yeah, go look at the history of Christians. There's some heavy persecution in our history. But I guess that doesn't matter. All that matters is what the Jews went through.
All of it is awful. And a lot of us thought that was the main lesson that we were supposed to take away from the war. And by the way, that's a great lesson. That's an excellent lesson. We should take that lesson from the Second World War.
Yeah, El Jefe, he says, I wish I could select who gets the membership. I've asked. I'll keep asking. Hopefully they'll add something like that. As of right now, I don't know how it does the memberships. I thought it was the people who talk the most or the most engaged, they'll get the memberships, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think it really is just random, a random draw of whoever's watching. They'll get the, yes, I don't know. You do need to have memberships turned on though. So make sure, if you do want to get a free membership in the future, make sure they're turned on because there is an option that has to be turned on for you to get free memberships. Other than that, I don't know. It seems to be a crapshoot, man. But yeah, John's never going to get a free membership. He has it turned off. So a lot of people keep wanting John to get a membership, but he clearly has them turned off.
And then you wake up and there's Mark Levin.
And I hope you feel better, John. John says he's going to pass out. John, get some rest, brother. Go get some sleep. Eat some soup, whatever. If you're sick, man, get some rest, brother. Shout out to John.
Not just Mark Levin, but our policymakers, our members of Congress. Most of them are not Jewish, by the way. This infected everybody. That's okay. It's not okay. It'll never be okay. It's a shame. It's shameful behavior. It's a stain on this country. You can't fight people unless you think you're morally superior to them. You shouldn't be. And how can you say you're morally superior if you're operating from the same assumption, which is that everyone on the other side should be killed because of how they were born? But that is absolutely Mark Levin's assumption. And he said it out loud. Look at this Twitter exchange. Watch this. She's basically saying, I don't understand like why we're getting involved in all this stuff. And Mark Levin is saying, well, you're a Nazi. And someone writes in and says, Mark, I'm not even, I may be on your side or not, but what you're saying is actually creating anti-Semitism. And he's saying, and I'm quoting, anti-Semitism is, quote, in your family's DNA. Who thinks that? Who would say?
I don't know if he even thinks that. This is, again, like the left. The left knows we're not Nazis, we're not racist, but there's power in calling us that. What's the end goal? The end goal is like to hurt the movement, to get people on the fence to go, well, I don't know if I would support them because I heard they're racist. It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing. The neocons are doing the same thing to the Republican Party that they want to see destroyed. The Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes. Honestly, Donald Trump wing of the Republican Party, because that's where all this stems from, is from Trump. And they want to go back, man. They so badly want to go back to the George Bush situation where the neocons, they're running everything.
Say something like that. Guilt or virtue are not in your DNA. We don't believe in a chosen people, and we don't believe in a damned people. Period. We don't believe that in the West. We don't believe that some peoples are inherently better or worse than other peoples. We believe in individuals in the capacity of every person to make individual choices and change for the better or the worse. And
he sounds like a complete Nazi to me, dude. This is what's so frustrating is you can say this, you can be like completely pointing out that your fucking view of the world is totally the opposite of what a Nazi racist view of the world would be. And it doesn't matter. You're still a Nazi. You're still an anti-Semite. You're still a racist. Because I said so. Because you disagreed with me on something and now I must destroy you. Basically because you don't want to continue the neocon fucking war, the neocon strategy of like, oh, next it's Iran. What's after Iran? Russia, North Korea. Like, it's just, you're never done with war. If it's a neocons, it's just one regime change war after another. Until I guess we build a Roman Empire and then bring in a bunch of slaves. I mean, I guess that's the strategy here. I don't know, man. But yeah, if you're not for that, if you even remotely criticize the way Israel's, the strikes that are going on in Gaza and how it seems like a lot of civilian casualties, you criticize that, that means you hate all Jews and you're an anti-Semite. And you're essentially Nick Fuentes.
On that basis, they are judged. But not on how they were born. And if we don't believe that, if we think that some people are just like inherently bad because their DNA.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. John's never going to get a membership. I wouldn't feel comfortable with John getting a membership because that would mean John's not going to get a membership because there's money involved and John's mom will get mad at him. It's okay, John. You don't have to be a member. You are a member in spirit, John. Okay? In spirit and all that. You are a member.
Hey. As Mark has said, and a lot of other people like Mark have said, then what's the point of what's the point of all of this? At that point, it's just like, well, my group has more guns than your group and we're in charge. That attitude gets people killed and it rots your soul. That's why we say anti-Semitism is bad in the first place, isn't it? You can't judge a whole group of people by how they were born, by their genetics, by their DNA. But there's Mark Levin doing it. So it shouldn't surprise you that, of course, if you have those attitudes and you think there are Americans, and he clearly does, whose DNA makes them less than human, unsalvageable, inherently evil, well, it shouldn't surprise you that he'd be calling for violence against them, and he is. And this isn't like your kind of classic, like, oh, everyone's out to kill me, I'm so important. I despise that. But it's a fact, and we know that from what he says. So here's Mark Levin about 2 weeks, in fact, I think exactly 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And he was trying to explain how this happened. How did Charlie get killed? Here's what he said.
The call to violence. That's what it is. You're calling people Hitler. It's a mass murder. you're treating ICE like it's the Gestapo or the SS, then you're free to shoot them.
Oh, dude. And then they turn around and do the same thing. That's pretty damning right there, dude. That's pretty damning. Because his argument, if you're not following, is because you called Charlie Kirk a Nazi, that basically in people's minds said, okay, well, they're a Nazi, then we can kill them because Nazis, fuck Nazis, right? But then they turn around and start calling the people in the party, their own party, who they don't like, Nazis. So it's like, oh, okay, so now you want people to kill Tucker Carlson by your own logic?
There you go. You call people Hitler, they get killed, right? You torque up the rhetoric to, we've all decided Hitler is the worst. Okay, great. Hitler's bad, for sure. So once you call people that, you liken them to the person we collectively agree is the worst person ever. Person we collectively agree, if you had a chance to kill baby Hitler, you would.
I wouldn't. You're still killing a baby, dude. Like, oh, if you're there, baby Hitler, would you just put a pillow over its face and snuff it out? Hey, you gotta be a sick fuck. I don't care if it's Hitler or not. It's a fucking baby, bro. It's a baby. And who knows, too, like, if you snuff out Hitler, does that change the circumstances in Germany in the 30s and 40s? No, you're still going to have somebody take that power, and they might have even been worse than Hitler. And they might have been more effective than Hitler, because Hitler was kind of a fucking dumbass who really dropped the ball in the war. And if they would have had a better kind of a strategic mind controlling the war effort in World War II, who knows?
We know how to fight.
Yeah, well, Adam, if you went to Iraq, you definitely know how to fight, bro. You definitely know how to fight. But let's not fight, okay? Let's be lovers, not fighters, okay?
Then why wouldn't you kill the people who are Hitler in your own society? Well, you probably would, and you'd feel justified in doing it. And that was the point he was making. Yeah, fair point. You know, you hope it's not used to censor people. You're allowed to have ugly thoughts. By the way, they're constitutionally protected. But you should be discouraged from it, for sure. And as Mark Levin just said, they lead to violence. Calling people Hitler leads to violence. Wow. Well, since that's his description in his terms, consider this clip about a month later.
I would ask some of these people who say, look, I'm going to stand by Tucker. You know, he's just inquisitive. He likes to have these people on and ask them questions. Really? But I'm not going to plat for them, no. So Tucker is a racist. Is that okay?
And again, this is basically over Iran. If you remember, this all kicked off because people were like, no, Trump, I thought we said no new wars. Why are you, let Israel can do whatever the fuck it wants. It wants to invade Iran. I don't care. Israel, you do what you want. We're not involved. And then came the regime change, where they tried to push regime change and everybody needs to be for regime change and blah, 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 blah. And then if you were against that, this is what you got. You got this response from the Mark Levines of the world that all of a sudden now you're an anti-Semite. You don't want to help Israel regime change Iran. You're an anti-Semite. It gives away the game. It really does.
So how many of you have friends who are racists? Isn't that a fair question, Mr. Producer? How many of you have friends who are racists and are proud of it and talk about it on a national platform? This is what I get now. Will you debate him? Will you debate Tucker Carlson? I don't debate the Klan. I don't debate Nazis.
So fuck. I can't believe people listen to this guy. People actually listen to this guy? I mean, it's got to be the only neocons that are still alive are listening to this guy. It's just got to be neocons. There's no way. It's a bunch of never Trumper neocons. It's got to be.
I don't debate Nazis. He texted me that. Almost didn't want to address this because you never want to make anything about yourself. It's another way in which you can very easily become Mark Levin, start talking about yourself all the time. Your family, your people. No. If you're interested in improving the country, you should be talking about all people in the country. It's not just about you or your people, whoever they are. It should be about everybody. That's the universalist spirit without which this country can't continue, just to be clear. It'll break apart, of course, into warring groups. But the basis of racism and anti-Semitism and all forms of bias that we abhor forms of bias that treat people as members of groups rather than individuals, all emanate from the same idea, which is you're born a certain way and you can't be fixed. You have blood guilt. And that's why it's bad to call people Nazis. And here is Mark Levin calling people Nazis. Well, in this case, me. So what is that? Well, that's, of course, a call to violence. And it's not just me. We compiled a list of all of some of the people on Twitter Mark Levin has referred to. These are all recent. Nazi, Nazi, Nazi bastard.
I wonder how many of these are just like, yeah, I thought we were going to do no new wars, and why are we going back to neocon regime change bullshit? And here's Levine just like, Nazi, 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 Nazi. Because, yeah, most of MAGA was like, even the Charlie Kirks who are like, they call themselves Semites, they call themselves Zionists. Even the Charlie Kirks were like, wait a minute, this is, no, we're not, no new wars. And a lot of people believe that's why Kirk got assassinated. People that think Israel did it, which I don't think that. But it gives away the game. It really does. It gives away their game.
F off, Nazi, 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 Nazi. But finally, somebody writes in on Twitter and says, and we're quoting, this is Mark Levin's 12th post today that's related to Israel or its critics. I know he's Jewish and sympathy for Israel is understandable.
Is he Jewish? I didn't even realize he was Jewish.
Olive became a member.
I thought he
Olive
was just
celebrates
a
9 months of membership. 9 months. Celebratory gesture emoji. God bless Ping and all of Stream smile.
Well, yeah, you're about to have a member baby, Olive. 9 months. That's you've been a member long enough to have a baby. Thank you for the support, Olive. That's awesome. You rock, Olive. Thank you so much. Got a lot of longtime members that have been in the game for quite a while now. And you guys rock, man. Thank you so much. All of you guys who stick by long term. You're the best. And thank you, Olive. Hopefully, here's to another 9 months.
But this now borders on obsession, to which Mark Levin responds, Nazi! Nazi! You should pause before you call people names like that. And I should just say, because righteousness is a goal, self-righteousness is a sin, I don't want to be self-righteous. I've certainly called people things they didn't deserve. I've leveled ad hominem attacks on people. I did against Liz Cheney. I apologize for it. I meant it. But we shouldn't let ourselves go in this area. We should force ourselves to treat other people like human beings with sincere disagreements or insincere disagreements, but still agreements that we can debate. Because once you start calling people Nazis, we really have no choice but to start shooting them. To be Dietrich Bonhoeffer and sort of reach the end of reason or even Christianity. Bonhoeffer decided Christianity's not even, he was a Lutheran pastor. Christianity's not enough. We have to kill the guy. I'm not judging Bonhoeffer, who was a great man in some ways, but that's inevitable once we decide that people are Nazis.
This is a great point. I think he's absolutely destroyed Mark Levine here. Using his own words. They want to act like they're the ones in the right. They're the moral fucking righteous ones, as they just like, oh yeah, sorry, we're going to have to bomb kids, you know? Yeah, fuck you and your civilian population. You guys, you're just in the wrong country, so we're going to bomb you. W. Tucker. I don't think they're going to succeed in destroying Tucker. They're trying. They're trying to use the Nick Fuentes fucking pollution of Tucker with Nick's message. It's I don't think it's going to work. We'll see, though. We'll see. They're not going to give up. And get ready. Get ready for this to be the norm, where you're going to hear about Nick Fuentes. If you watch the mainstream media, you're going to hear about Nick Fuentes on the daily. And you're going to be reminded that he is an anti-Semite. And they're going to play all of his edgiest clips, and this is not going away. We'll see this at least until the midterms. At least. Thank you, guys. Been a fun show. A lot of support. Thank you, El Jefe, with the 10 gifted. Everybody else that sent super chats, there's a lot of them. Thank you guys so much for the support. You rock. Mark is calling people Nazis, not humans. Yeah, gotcha. Tucker has M's. What does that mean? Tucker has fuck you money. Yeah, Tucker has millions. Tucker does have fuck you money, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I think they're definitely going to try to take out Tucker, and this might be like their little test phase. Like, can we use any association with Nick Fuentes to destroy you? We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, guys. Been fun. Got to get out of here. Got to make a run before the store closes at midnight. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night. Smash the thumbs up if you haven't. Let's see if we can get to 100. And once again, thank you guys for the support. We'll see you tomorrow night. All of you have a wonderful night, and thank you again. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good one. Much love.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.